Yeah.
Oh, everybody, welcome to the panel. We have something very serious to talk about. There happens to be an NBA injury crisis, and it's really getting scary. Anthony Davis, he went down with, and fellas, I hope you know what this is because I've never heard of this before. A bilateral Achilles tendinopathy injury.
Yeah.
That's what he
It's a
went
foot
down
injury.
with yesterday. So he went down with the foot injury, and we don't know the severity of it. I haven't heard that he's out. I haven't heard that how long he'll miss. Maybe he just missed that game. But it's just adding more and more to the crisis at hand. Luka Doncic is hurt. Bron James is hurt. Anthony Edwards is hurt. Darius Garland's hurt. Tyler Hero's hurt. It's a lot of all-star level players, superstar level players that are hurt, and Anthony Davis has just been added to that list. Fellas, I want to talk about this and what's going on right now. Once again, welcome to the panel. The show is brought to you by Splash Sports. We're going to get into it. Let's do it, y'all.
Yeah.
Thoughts
Hello, everyone.
on Anthony Davis?
Was anyone surprised?
I mean, didn't we call this when he showed up? When he showed up like out of shape, it's not a great thing when you're injury prone, big man, to be showing up out of shape, right?
But this is the thing. Like,
I don't want to castigate him by saying he was out of shape. I do think there's something to Penn. In my conversation is that a lot of players try to come in a little heavier because of how much weight you lose over the course of the year. But, and then obviously maybe he was planning to play a little bit more on the inside too. Because obviously, you need a little bit more, mass to you. But apparently Penn is a overuse injury. So, if you do a lot of running and jumping, and then apparently if there's like a sudden increase in exercise intensity, which I don't want to assume he hasn't been obviously working on his game during the summer, but it has everything to do with just overuse, and it just leads to a swelling that can cause like a stiffness in the Achilles area. So
don't they have something in the league? Don't they have something in the league called load management that handles that sort of thing?
No, that's not. They're not related.
No. Okay.
Because I'm pretty confident. All 82 in 1980s.
100%. And he was 42 years old, by the way, when he did that.
Yeah. Anthony Davis got locked in.
I have a fun stat, by the way, Mars, on that whenever we move to that conversation, because, Nick Wright, first things first, does a lot of good things. He highlighted a Substack that showed to remember when Chill and I did the when we had our in-person conversation, Chill, when you were 2-1 me with Dell for some reason. When we had that conversation,
it was supposed to just be you and me. No, Dell got involved.
Penn, I saw him under the table slide Dell a stack of 20s.
No, you didn't. You did not. You did not.
So it was rigged. It was rigged.
Dell got involved in it.
No. Chill was sending NIL money before NILs were legal. So you were Alabama.
I don't need any.
You were Alabama.
Need anybody to deal with you.
Anyway, so in that conversation, remember I brought up the mileage stuff, and I actually think there's a lot we can get into that from a statistical standpoint too. But I hope it's not anything serious. Obviously, it doesn't seem like it is, Penn. So,
Speaking of Achilles injuries, and we have a new member, Craft Athletics. That dude, I'm telling you, top of the top, knows his shit when it comes to injuries. That is AJ DeBonce's trainer. Right there. So, shout outs to Craft Athletics, man.
Yeah, shout out to Craft Athletics.
And the injuries that Anthony Davis has sustained, if I remember correctly, like last season, like he had gone out of the lineup, but also came back from those injuries last season. I remember against Memphis when he had the leg injury, he came back and put 40-9 on them, right? He ended up getting shut down. He ended up getting shut down. I think it was the second half of the season, but a lot of these injuries, I don't think that we give Anthony Davis enough credit for playing through them. He's had a groin injury that he was dealing with since he was with the Lakers. He should be, don't get me wrong, I do think that there's nicks that these guys can play through. I can't speak for all of these guys because I don't know what their pain tolerance is, but there are injuries that you can play through. Now, this is something from what Swiper is telling me, sounds more like a precaution. It's early in the season. We're not going to overexert him, but we can't let this thing linger too much because, again, I don't want to fall too far behind in the Western Conference and in the division. I if I'm not mistaken, I mean, they won yesterday. If they're not 500, they're a game under 500. This doesn't look good if you're continuously, missing your big man. So, I mean, he's averaging 25 and 10, 26 and 10, and we need him to play. We 100% need him to play. And I think that I think he will be able to play, but I think that they just got to do a better job in managing him. That's all.
I think that looking at this whole situation, I think that in hindsight, Lakers fans should be rejoicing, because I think that this is who AD is now. I don't think he's a guy you could necessarily rely on to be your franchise cornerstone to build around. And I know I understand the not being in shape thing might not be a thing yet, and guys want to lose weight throughout the year and things of that nature. But for him to come into camp, to me, in really terrible basketball shape, even though he might shed some kilos throughout the year, to me was unacceptable, man. After an historic trade where Luka Doncic goes to LA, to me it was unacceptable. It could have played a part, we don't know. But I think it also puts the Mavs in a really difficult spot right now, because if AD's a guy that you have to manage throughout the season, if he's an unreliable superstar and Klay Thompson is looking as washed as he looks to start this season, all of a sudden this could get really ugly really fast for Dallas. How far do you go? Chill, to your point, if you're slipping down the standings or you can't keep up in the West, you guys, it's going to be sooner rather than later where Dallas have to make a decision. Is AD really the guy, or can they swallow their pride and potentially start over a little bit? Because Kyrie's not coming back anytime soon. Could be January or February. Klay looks really bad. Cooper Flag's going to take time to adjust. Where does it leave Dallas overall if AD can't be relied upon to be there every single night and give you all NBA production?
By the way, just for context, Damien, this is how many games. I think this is the correct way on the screen. Maybe this way. This is how many games Anthony Davis has played for the Mavericks.
14.
14. He's played 14,
which is a concern.
And he went down with an injury this last season with the Mavericks. First year being there, and then tried to play through obviously towards the end of the year. And then this year, he was already dealing with some things coming into the season, and now he's dealing with an Achilles swelling issue that's now affecting him. And we are game 5. This is literally what we are in the first 5% of the year, essentially. And he is already laboring with consecutive injuries that have lingered from offseason into now. So I think for me, the biggest issue here, Ron, is more so it's not that AD's hurt, because AD, he gets hurt. And bigs typically, especially bigs like Anthony Davis, they don't typically age super well, because just the way their joints, their muscles, tendons, Anthony Davis is 6'11", he's massive.
Sure.
And he weighs a lot. Like when you see AD in person, he's not like skinny. Like he's a bigger dude. And so then you add in the fact that he's played so much basketball over the course of his career. Since 2012, he's been in the NBA, y'all. Like he's not a young person. Since 12, he's been in the league. I just think that it was an egregious oversight by the Mavs to get off of Luka, given the context of how old he was. You're already trading for a player that was trending downward from their prime. That's also a big. That's also more injury prone. I mean, there's so many no's, so many glaring red flags about this trade beyond, Luka, quote unquote, being out of shape. The process just wasn't there. The long-term projecting and thinking wasn't there from Nico or the Mavs organization. So honestly, Penn and Damien and Mars and Ron and Chill, the further we get away from that deal, I think we're going to look back at that trade worse and worse and worse, given the trajectory of both of their careers from this point on.
So 2 things. Number one,
right quick, Chill. But before you respond, Chill, I just want to show the people what happened last night. And it's not nothing like excruciating or anything like that, but it just kind of puts a little bit into context. I'm going to play it again one more time in case you missed it. This is what happened.
Timeout, Dallas. For every dunk during the Mavs 46 season, 18 teams donate $45 for creating connections.
So he stayed down by the sports table for a while. Trainers came over.
You could just mute it, right?
I like the sound of it.
Tony Bradley.
Hey, by the way, Ron, it happened during it originally happened during a jump shot where he landed on
Yes,
his Achilles. So it happened a little bit previous to that. That was a little bit after.
Bro, I'm trying to be serious, but Mars dancing
So-
got me like laughing.
So,
bro.
swipe with two things to counter what you just said. I think that they were looking toward the future. Like what you see with Luka right now with the Lakers, I don't think that you would have gotten that in terms of that commitment, in terms of him getting himself in shape. I think he was already bought in to the way he was bought in when he was playing with Dallas, being out of shape, not playing defense. I think that playing with the Lakers, there was a different demand on him. I don't think you would have ever gotten that with him playing in Dallas. That's number one. Number two, that Dallas looked at this Anthony Davis situation, who, by the way, came into camp in great shape last year. And until he had gotten traded, I think he had missed 2 games. I think he had missed 2 games up until that point. And in the previous season, he had played 75 games, I think, some 75 or 79 games. And so he had played almost the entire season. They were looking at this like a short-term thing. They're looking at this Dallas team. We just won the NBA championship. We aren't that far away. We're not going to completely destruct our team. We're just going to change the way we play. And this is a 3-year window that we have. Now, to your point, it could look bad, but I think that to counter your point, I think that they were looking toward the future. If Luka is this way now, even as good as he is, and I know that Mars and I have gone back and forth with this, even as good as he is, 25, 26 years old, and he's not in the shape that they would like him to be. He's not committed defensively,
but he was still playing better in more games than Anthony
Even
Davis,
if that's true, if you move 5 years from now and they sign him to a $315,
5 years from now, Luka would be 30 at the time of the
right?
trade.
And
Anthony Davis would be 38.
Oh, chill. This ship has sailed. It's gone. Whether this was a good trade or a bad trade, that shit is gone. The only person I've ever heard try to defend this trade is probably Ox. Like, it was so absurd when it happened. You don't do this. You never trade a young player like this. Now, everything that's happened with Anthony Davis is just making, like a bad situation just gets worse and worse and worse. Like you come home and you show your mom that you got a D and she's like really mad at you.
It's insult to injury, Pin.
She getting her belt ready. And then you be like, oh, but by the way, I also got arrested on my way home for jaywalking. Like it just makes it worse and worse and worse. Okay. And oh, by the way, I broke your favorite pot. I broke your favorite, thing. Like it's just like it's a bad news thing. Every time I hear about Anthony Davis in the news, it's just bad news, right? So, damn.
But again,
yikes!
You guys, I'm obviously in the minority, right? I'm obviously.
But Joe, I guess what is your positioning? Your position is that not beyond you taking the position that Nico's thought process was defensible, because you've already said that, and I think in abundance. But are you also taking a position that it's defensible enough to where you would have made that trade, and you think that that even if Nico can defend his position, because Mars, one of the things he's been doing as of lately is, even if he doesn't believe something, he's been saying, I can make a good argument for it. We can all make good arguments for why you would do something. But I'm saying from an actual on-court financial production, basketball implications thought process, was this a good trade for the Dallas Mavericks?
Swiper, please make a good argument for why this was a good trade from Dallas. I dare you.
Or
yeah,
chill.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Why don't you guys battle opposite sides of it? Why don't you, someone who believes this wasn't a good trade, make an argument for it? I just want to see somebody who believes what you believe try to argue the opposite. How do you? Like, the truth is, the only way you can do it is lie. That's the only way.
No.
You can lie. You can say Luka's unreliable and he's out of shape and all this stuff, but that's a lie. It's a lie. He was injured,
and I think there's something to.
And one of the main reasons why he was injured was because he was out of shape.
No, but we have six. But here's the issue, Chill. Here's the issue, Chill. Even if I, because everyone knows I love research and information gathering. That's like my vein. I have books next to me now. Like I love reading. That's why me and Ron talk so much off mic, because but I'm saying that in this instance is when you're doing information gathering for like any subject material, like if you're looking to invest in a business, typically what you're going to look at is in a short-term process, what are the gains that we're going to have? And then relative to how much I'm spending, how much will I gain 3, 5, 10, 12, 20 years from now? So you do which is projective analysis. So a lot of betting markets, because, you know, there's been that tweet going around from a projecting betting analysis that we're saying SGA, is it Wemby and then Jokic were like the most common bets to win MVP this year. And the timeline's like, where's Giannis? Where's Giannis? Projections is literally a metric and a math equation that puts into factor how that player's played, what team they play on, games played, division, conferences, all that stuff. So when you're putting an analysis together, are you trading a 25-year-old who's a 28-8-8 player in his career, who has had one of the best starts to his career ever, and we're 6 years at that point chilling, to first-team All-NBAs, basically. That was going to be year 6 for first-team All-NBAs. You drafted him. He has been by far one of the 5, 6, 3 best players in the sport every year he's been in. He just changed up his game to accommodate Kyrie Irving. You then go on a run the last 40 games of the year when you get P.J. Washington and Gafford, and you bring him into the fold. He plays an excellent series versus the Wolves. He gets blitzed in the finals. Everybody on that team gets blitzed. But you then bring the team back with a full year to make a run. The problem is he had a soft issue injury, which for a lot of people, if you look at soft tissue injuries, that's not always related to shape. There are things that happen over the course of your body and how they break down enzymes, produce enzymes that literally go into like your muscles and like what happens over the stretch of a year. Like it was a random injury. Chill. Prior to that injury, he was playing MVP basketball and he might have won MVP had he maintained that pace. And then he went down with an injury. So what happens is they trade him for Anthony Davis, who just came off a 79-game season. And as I told you, and I said last year, he was a second-team All-NBA player for me. He was phenomenal. But chill, if you look at the trajectory for centers, Kareem, Shaq, whoever, whatever your favorite center is of all time, Hakeem Olajuwon, all of those players, by the time they get to age 33, as good as Hakeem was when 32 and 31 when he won Finals MVP, they start trending downward at that point, because physically you can no longer do the things you used to do. And when you're 6'10", 6'11", 7 feet, and you're on the inside of the basketball court as much as you are, which is heavy contact, it's heavy movement, and then you're running up and down the court, those players age worse than guards and wings. Right. So the issue is that if you're doing long-term projective analysis of Luka Doncic at 25 years old and 6'7", who's a guard in a jump shooting play style versus a player that's not a jump shooter, that's an interior presence, that's bigger and older and more injury prone over the course of their career. You put those two things together and say, if I am making a trade, then what I am getting is a bona fide blue chip next to said older player, which would have been Austin Reaves. So if they came away with Austin Reaves and Anthony Davis, then I might be with you. The problem is they came away with Max Christie, who's a borderline rotational player. And then you get Anthony Davis, the aging, injury-prone big center who's 8 years older than this other player that's a superstar who's already better, who's already taken you further as number one option. And then you replace that player with this. It is a nightmare scenario. And I'm saying, chill, if you had money and you said you're going to invest $10,000 in the business, and I said you're going to get a 3-year window, but by the time you get to year 3 of that window, your money is gone, I would not tell you to make that deal. So I'm saying in this instance, that's what the Mavs did. They sold a long-term prospect who was better in the interim for a short-term goal based on oversight and things they did not want to actually look into from a business marketing standpoint. That's what I'm telling you why it was so bad. That's why it's such an issue.
Well, fellas, again, I want to chill. I want to zoom back out and not just focus on the Anthony Davis injury. I know that happened last night, but I want to talk about kind of whether it's an injury crisis in the NBA or not. You have LeBron, you have Luka, you have Tyler Hero, you have Darius Garland. Is this a problem, or is it just basketball? Is it just sports? Is it just the NBA, and are we just going through a rough period in the sport?
You forgetting a lot of names, man.
Who else am I forgetting, Pin?
Did you mention De'Aaron Fox?
I didn't.
Did you mention Damian Lillard?
I did not mention Damian Lillard.
Did you mention
Jason Tatum?
Jalen Green? Been out.
I didn't mention that Jalen Green.
Paul George.
Huh.
Old.
The kid, Nikola Topic, Chet Holmgren out right now. Jalen Williams out right now. Right? Like Mitchell Robinson out right now. Like, it's tough, bro. Like, looking at the Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero is out right now. I'm just looking at this. Ty Jerome is out right now. That's the Memphis Grizzlies depth and bench that they just signed. He's out right now, right? Like Luka Doncic, LeBron, like these guys are all out.
Marcus Smart.
The Pacers are missing half their lineup, yo. They're missing their first string point guard, second string point guard, and third string point guard. Tyrese Halliburton is out, and they're missing their starting shooting guard, Ben Mathurin. Fred VanVleet is out. DFS is out. Like, what are we doing? It's like half the league is on the IR, bro.
What were you about to say, Damien?
No, but this is the interesting point where people dislike load management, but then they're the same people that also complain that there's too many injuries in the league when load management is actually intended to keep players on the floor, right? So we can't have it both ways sometimes, but I think it's just the nature of sports. I think a lot can happen at the same time for a lot of players. Like I used to be a professional athlete. A lot of these injuries are just out of your control, especially the soft tissue one Swiper referred to. I think it's hard. I think there's good and bad in everything though. And I think that for the All-Star game, for example, it will give guys like Austin Reaves, maybe Franz Wagner, if Orlando start to play better, the opportunity to make an All-Star game because some of these guys are not going to be around. So I think there's good and bad in everything, but I just think that it's not necessarily a pandemic in the league. I think people also don't acknowledge that professional sports now, the physical output is as high as it's ever been. And even though we have all the recovery methods, all the advanced medicine, all the ability to theoretically keep people on the floor, the physical output is never really taken into consideration in some of these conversations. And guys are jumping. I was going to say, and guys are jumping higher than ever before. They're running more than ever before. They're sprinting more than ever before. They're covering more ground than ever before on the court as well. So I think that needs to be taken into consideration as well. But it's never great that all these.
But now we're also pressing more than we have in almost any time since the 90s. So we're upping the intensity defensively. Ron, approaching things with intellectual curiosity here, please. You know, guys are playing a lot more physical. Let's just be real.
I'll be back. I got to go turn it on. I'll be right back.
Yeah, good stuff. And I was going to complete the list, which is Kobe White. Kobe White is injured as well. Like we don't talk about this. Darius Garland also injured. Not megastars, but all-star adjacent players who are fully capable of winning Eastern Conference Player of the Week, whatever. Brandon Miller is out, right? Jason Tatum, of course, and then Trae Young is apparently scheduled to go and undergo an MRI today to determine the severity of his injury. So it's a lot, man. It's a lot. We're putting these athletes through a lot. And, it's weird to watch the game as I'm watching it and then to come online and hear somebody say, the league is soft. It's not soft. It's actually quite difficult to play in this league today.
Yeah, I just think it's wild right now. And regardless of what it is, you could say the league is soft. You could say it's more running and it's harder than ever before. Whatever the case may be, you could say load management. It's never good when we can watch the full product, or when we can't watch the full product, when we can't watch the superstars, when we can't watch teams at full strength battle against each other. It's tough. It's tough. And I don't know what to diagnose it. Go ahead, Damien.
And I think Chill's point that he always makes, which I think is great as well, is that a lot of the NBA is about survival. Like which team can stay the healthiest, which team can try and weather some of these storms. The Lakers are a great example now with both Luka and LeBron out. Austin Reaves keeping them above water. Like these are all the other storylines that are coming out of the league when guys are missing time. Like can Indiana keep up in the East when their starting lineup's decimated? Can the Lakers stay in touch in the West when they got no ball handlers and all of a sudden two-way guys and Bronny James and all these guys are having to play minutes, like genuine NBA minutes? It's just crazy storylines that are coming out of the league because of it. So I don't think we should start celebrating maybe some of the other guys that are getting minutes as well and doing good work in those minutes as well. I think there's good and bad in that.
Shout outs to Jake LaRavia. I talked a lot of shit about Jake LaRavia in my life. I've called him a bum. Said he's terrible. Said he shouldn't be in the NBA. Said he was worse than dudes in my rec league. he put up numbers yesterday. So shout outs to Jake. He couldn't miss.
Yeah. Also, shout out to guys like Josh Minot, hooping in place of Jason Tatum.
Yes.
Shout out to I mentioned him yesterday. AJ Mitchell. Even though, he was on that roster last year, he was hurt for majority of the year. Aaron Wiggins, too. We seen him. We knew he could ball, but he's stepping into bigger minutes. And there's a lot of other guys, too. Dylan Harper, Stephon Castle, without De'Aaron Fox. It's a lot of guys. The list goes on of guys stepping in and playing very good in place of these star players. But at the same time, chill. We want to talk about the star players because these are the guys that are making the money. These are the guys that we're familiar with. These are the guys that have proven themselves, stamped themselves as all-stars, superstars, all NBA players, all the above. So it's just, it's tough. But Damian did highlight a good point that you do get to see new players that in any other scenario, we probably wouldn't get a chance to see.
I just think that we're in a different space when it comes to professional basketball players this year. I get double talked all the time about this sort of stuff. So you know what I'm going to do? Because I'm the old head up here, I'm going to stay out of this. Because I had a really good counter for Swiper when we were having a conversation, but we got interrupted from what we were talking about. So I'm going to stay out of this injury thing, and I'm going to let you guys handle this stuff. Absolutely. Because I'm an old head, and the way I think is old head. So I'm gonna stay out of this, and I'm gonna let you guys handle this one.
Yeah, me and Chill gonna stay out of this. We'll let you guys.
Who said you're an old head?
Peruse through intellectual curiosity.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you guys handle it. 100% it does. Yes, sir. I'm gonna stay out of this. I'm gonna let you guys handle it.
Yeah, me and Chill good off y'all.
There's this world that people think that like they glorify the 90s and the 2000s, and they look at hard fouls from Charles Oakley, and they're just like, oh man, they don't allow anybody to do anything anymore. They're soft now. They call it watch any game in the NBA that does not involve like a really bullshit team. Just watch two decently competitive teams and watch the toll that a guard has to go through, a big has to go through. Go watch tonight if you're going to watch Miami versus San Antonio and look at the sheer number of steps that Victor Wembanyama is going to have to take in that game, or the physicality or the grind and how many screens Steph Castle has to walk through, and just look at the size and speed of the athletes. This is a zero-sum game, right? Basketball is a zero-sum game. At the end of the game, the team with more points wins the game every single time. I'm not saying anything insightful. So I got to beat you to the spot. You get faster, I got to move faster, right? I got to beat you to the rim. You get stronger, I have to get stronger. It's an arms race of athleticism, and quite frankly, we're approaching a breaking point here where the pace has picked up so much, the number of possessions we play, the amount of physicality we play, the amount of movement there is off ball. You don't just get to stand around and coast on defense anymore. When your guy doesn't have the ball, you're not just watching. No, you have to participate. You have to chase him. Like, do you understand what how mentally fatiguing, mentally emotionally exhausting it must be to have to guard Steph Curry on even 16 possessions? Like, he could take 0 shots in that whole game. You can't think of a player in the 90s that put that type of toll on you. You can only say, well, Shaq beat you up a lot. Yeah, but those are bruises. Those are bruises, right?
Reggie Miller 100% existed. Rip Hamilton existed. These guys were running around too, and they don't put the kind of strain. But again, I'm gonna stay out of this. I'm gonna let you guys.
We're gonna stay out of this.
You don't have to.
I'm gonna.
This is BS.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay out.
I'm not saying movement shooters didn't exist. I'm not saying movement shooters didn't exist. I'm just saying every team didn't have one, Chill, and you didn't have to do it every single night for the whole possession. Because when Reggie Miller went to the bench, Reggie Miller Jr. didn't come off the bench. Okay, like I see teams now with 4 or 5 movement shooters who are consistently scanning, off-ball actions, coming off of double pin downs, and they're extending you further and further up. Like, the geometry of the court has changed, right? Like, we used to play inside the 3-point line.
Okay, enough. All right, enough, Penn. See, this is bullshit. All right, I've had it. And let me tell you why I've
stayed out of it for a good 3.5
I tried to stay out of it as long as I possibly could. I don't know if you noticed, Damien, but we have a hotel in the States. It's called the Four Seasons. One of the nicest places that you've ever seen. You get massages in this place. You didn't have stuff like this years ago. Like, you had to fly commercial, and you had to sit in the airport for hours. Like, they actually charter planes and make these planes fit for big people. Not only do they make them fit for big, not only do they make them fit for big people, they feed you on these planes. In terms of modern medicine, guys, we just saw Jason Tatum actually running around at the tearing his Achilles. And Achilles in 1992, 1989 was a death sentence. So you're telling me that today, that the modern athlete, one, is better, the treatment is better, the athlete is better, the game is better, the amenities are better. All of this stuff is all better. Meanwhile, we're getting less games from these guys. These guys are soft tissue injuries. They're not being able to play, and they're being more cautious about them. Why? It's because of the bread. That's really what this is about. Because I got a guy in Anthony Davis who's on the books for almost $70 million, and the last thing that I need for him to do is tear his Achilles or have a foot injury, because I already dealt him for Luka Doncic, which is already a problem. With this all being said, you can't tell me on the one end that the athlete is better, that all the amenities are better, that medicine is better, that all of this stuff is better. Meanwhile, I'm getting less games. I'm getting less production. Those two things don't add up with me. I apologize if I'm ranting, but that makes me nuts when I hear that. It does.
But you're also
less minutes per night too.
You're also comparing a lot of this chill to Malone, Stockton, Jordan, and there are players who played a significant amount of minutes and for 12, 13 years. Then obviously Malone, I think he played 18 with the Utah Jazz, and he missed 2 games at most over that stretch. And then I think John Stockton played 19, 20, and then played 82 in all those or whatever. But I think the issue with chill is that, like, we debated this last year. I don't think players are actually – it is more strategic now. And Ron, I sent you the graphic because I feel like that is the place to talk from this from. And you don't have to use the graphic, but – chill, the mileage alone that players are facing today changes the way that we're talking about what it is we're doing and the way that we're talking about just the sport in general. And in large part because Ron just sent it to you, I didn't realize I didn't put it in your didn't actually send it. A part of it is chill is that when you look at where they were, like in the graphic that was shared. And again, just going to credit like first things first for this because there's a stat head that it came out of. But when you look at in the 1980s, like the average miles covered per 82 games was less than 1,300 miles in the 1980s by players.
Yep.
Today in 2024 and 5, the average player is crossing over 1,500 miles in distance covered per year in 82 games. So if you put that into effect, the level of athletes, offenses are, and I think we can agree with this in totality. Offenses are much more advanced today than they used to be.
Yep.
I mean, that's just true.
More action.
It is.
No
way
doubt.
more action, way more movement.
You're
guarding from the 3/4 line on the other side of the half court more than you used to because now you have to have a higher pickup point and at least at the half court line because if you let Steph Curry and Damian Lillard and Trae Young cross half court and you don't have anybody in their face, they're going to burn you. Even if it's not a direct shot, as Damian and Penn and Mars and Ron know, like if you set an action, if I want to drag, a double drag at the half court, then I'm going to have a wide open opportunity for playing versus drop coverage versus a big or versus whoever's on the end of that drag. So if you just look at the way the game is played, players are dealing with more space and faster, bigger, stronger athletes on So again, you sometimes get stuck on this idea that like, which is true, like Dominique Wilkins, Jordan, all these players, these were the preeminent athletes. But athletes as a whole are better in the league than they were then. Like, and I don't know again if that's really debatable either. Like, it's not like you didn't have really good athletes, but just for a 1 to 15 man roster, like it's just a different level of athleticism now. So I do think though, if you put the offense together, you put the way the players are having to move and how good teams are now, I just think that there's a lot more stress on the body. Personally, go ahead.
100%. Yo, chill. Just hold on a second because I'm gonna put this graphic up here. Swiper, I'm gonna share the graphic that you sent with me. But before we do that, I gotta take you guys to a nice little location. It's Halloween season. That means there's demons. That means there's goblins. That means there's scary pumpkins and all of that good stuff. But you know what there also is? There's a trick-or-treat basket. And you know what you could get in your trick-or-treat basket? You can get 5,000 big ones by entering our Halloween tiers contest. Now, it's very simple and it's very easy to play. There will be 6 tiers of players, starting from the superstars up top down to the bench warmers below. You will have to pick a player from each tier. It's going to take $25 to get in, but trust me, it's worth it. if you know what you're doing. If you're locked in, if you got basketball IQ, and if you know how to really pick the demons down below that are lurking in the shadows, and if you can pick the right people that can drop 30 on any given night, and if you pick the best lineup, you will win this $5,000. So here's what you need to do. Download the app, Splash Sports that is, and you can do that by clicking the link in the bio or scanning this QR code. And then once you get in there, it will cost $25 to get in. And then you pick your lineup, and by Saturday, you will have $5,000 in your bank account. I will see you guys in the winner's circle. I can't wait to see who all joins. And ultimately, make sure that you master those 3 bottom tiers, because that's what's going to be the toughest part. And that's what's ultimately going to separate the winner from all the losers. We'll see you guys there.
I got a nice little bonus from Splash Sports last night, by the way.
Did you?
Oh yeah, another one. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the last 2 weeks. Hey man, Ron, I'm gonna have Ron money in a minute. Hey, self-made suits. I'm finna get me a custom piece. Can't wait.
You need to start taking some advice from Swiper. That's what I really need to start doing, because he sound like Swiper in the know. Yeah, that's what it sound like.
This was the graphic that Swiper shared. It is the average miles covered over 82 games. As you guys can see, right over here, this is 1,300. And up here, it's closer to 1,600. And that's now. This is 2020. This was back in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, yada, yada, yada. And this is kind of based on MJ's comments on load management, where he said it shouldn't be needed.
So to Swiper's point, Swiper, you brought up a really interesting point. You brought up a really interesting point about the amount of miles and how much better these guys are being maintenance. Well, if you think about a car, well, today we got better mechanics. And the reason why we got better mechanics is because the product is different. Like the car is different. The engine is different. And it's the mechanic who maintains it better, as opposed to back then. Like, I'm trying to imagine the amount of minutes, the amount of time that Stockton played, the amount of time that Malone played. And I'm not even talking about just the superstars. I'm even talking about the lesser guys, the amount of minutes that Fat Lever played, the amount of minutes that guys like Rolando Blackman played. If they had the amenities that are going on today, like if I had a masseuse, if I had somebody to take care of my body, if I had a trainer, if I had a dietitian and people like that, because we didn't have anything like that available to us in order for us to play at a maximum level, consistently. We did that wasn't available. That's so much more available today. James actually wrote the blueprint on how to last long. This is how you take care of your body. This is what you do in order to take care of your body. And I feel like a lot of these guys, the reason why they're playing that long, like DeMar DeRozan, like Steph Curry, like Steph Curry, like Kevin Durant, James, for an example, the reason why these guys are playing this long is because they're not only afforded these amenities, they're taking advantage of them. That's why they're hanging around as long as they're hanging around. We had guys running around like Steph Curry. Reggie Miller was doing that. Dale Ellis was doing that. Like guys were playing not at that level of Steph Curry in terms of production, in terms of threes, but the movement. And then when you're talking about offenses being more advanced, Swiper, I will agree with you that there are some sets that I watched and I'm like, wow, that's really interesting. But I vividly remember the Utah Jazz in the 1990s where they used to run a UCLA cut. It was one of the most advanced offenses that I've seen, where Jeff Hornacek would have the ball at the top of the key. Stockton is on the wing. While Stockton is on the wing, he would throw the ball. So he would throw the ball on the wing. He would come off a UCLA cut. He would come off a UCLA cut from Malone. While doing that, Malone would immediately go set a screen on Stockton. Stockton is coming around that screen. While he's coming around that screen, Jeff Hornacek is coming around a double screen on the baseline, and he's getting wide open. And if that doesn't work, we immediately get into motion offense, right? So that kind of action was going on in 1996, 1995.
And it was going on the regular, Chill. On the regular. Teams had early offense. Teams had actual offense. And then, if all of that broke down, then you dump the ball into the post.
Like, we have all these final games that are available on YouTube. I know that Chill. I think Jordan's the best player ever, so I'm not an anti-90s person at all. But Chill, sure. I mean, and Ron, you're just being nasty. We watch these games like they're available. We've seen them. I'm saying that if you watch. I mean, respectfully, I'm not even trying to troll. If you watch the Washington Wizards today, and then you compare the amount of movement in their offense to what you were seeing in high leverage game in the 1990s,
No.
There is a difference.
But
I'm not
but
saying
Swiper,
it's
there's
I'm not saying
also-
it's bad.
Wizards. I
there's
literally
also
just watched
teams.
the Washington Wizards on. I watched them a couple of days ago against the Charlotte Hornets, and we just had a conversation about how much better they would be if they played in between. This is a team that takes a tremendous amount of bad shots. And why do they take a tremendous amount of bad shots? Because the ball doesn't move. They stay behind the long ball line because that's what the game is today. Now, as opposed to your point, these high-level teams back then, these high-level, and I ain't even just talking about the 90s. I'm even talking about the 2000s. The triangle offense was innovative, right? And with the triangle
For the
offense being
time.
innovative, and it was way before its time. I think that we've seen teams. I think that we've seen teams have offenses that were complex that made defenses have a difficult time dealing with them. So now, with that being said, we have today where we got a lot of teams just shooting the long ball. I think that the reason why that's more difficult to guard because of the amount of space where guys are shooting the long ball. And we got a guy like Steph Curry who has now been the prototype of how to move off the basketball. I think people are trying to emulate that. They're not doing a very good job. But back to the point of this whole load management thing, I think that these teams, with the amount of amenities that we have for these guys, with the amount that's available to them. Again, if you don't have a tear in a tendon or a broken bone, there shouldn't be an issue for you not being able to play. I think you can play with knick-knack injuries. I do. I think that you, because I don't know if you know this, Swiper, but Anthony Davis is on the books for almost $70 million next season. $70 million.
Well, remember now, they have to manage that. They have to manage that player because they traded a 25-year-old for him, so they can't just play him whenever they want. So they got to be like, oh, we got to make sure he can last at least in the 3-year window that we traded him for. So
100%.
Man, there are opinions. And there are facts.
Pim, we got a $50 super chat, by the way. I know Ron, we're supposed to get to. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Pin, but just respect the super chat.
Teddy Hart. Y'all know Teddy Hart. Y'all know the face. Y'all know the name. And y'all know his game. He sent through $50 and he said, if modern amenities were available decades ago, maybe some of the resilience and tenaciousness that we saw them exhibit goes down. Maybe you can't have both. There's always a trade-off.
I don't think
tenacity.
But you said tenaciousness. So,
the tenacity and the resilience, I don't think it would go away off the strength that my game was everything. There was no social media. The amount of like fanfare and the amount of stuff that these guys see today, I mean, it's way different than what it was in the 80s and the 70s. My game was what did all the talking for me. So that's what kept me on the floor. These amenities. So there'd be no reason for me not to play unless I had broken bones, unless I had a torn tendon or something like that.
Okay. First of all, as I said, there are opinions and there are facts. Okay. You can say you liked the game more back then. You could say you liked the game less today. You can say it was more enjoyable. We cannot debate, however, the complexity of offense. We cannot debate the freedom of offense. Everything the NBA has done since the 90s has been to enable offensive players to have more control, more initiation, more creativity. And teams are struggling to catch up. They're implementing some combination of American isolation and skills, which is top of the league, top of the world, with European, motion offense and principles, which is just making a complexity that is too far. Now, I often try to think to myself, why do I use 16 sentences when one sentence will do, right? Like the Luka AD debate. Yeah, sure. We can go on a 20-minute soliloquy, or I can just tell you that the Lakers clearly won the trade because you've never heard it referred to as the Anthony Davis trade. It's the Luka trade. That's why
Luka
I know they won.
Player. That's why. But Luka was a better player.
That's the point. It's a one-sentence mic drop moment. So what I'll say to you about your amenities and your first-class flights and all that stuff is chill. Ron's a pretty good defender, right? By his own admission, right? Ron's a pretty good defender.
Ask about me. I don't got to say nothing.
Well, not when Trey was in front of him.
I asked the streets.
What about when you was in front of me?
I scored too. Now what? Our team won.
Okay, so Ron's a 6'4"
as you were saying.
He's a good defender.
6'4".
Whatever, Swiper, 6'4", 6'3", whatever. Okay,
6'5".
Okay, 6'4".
As you were saying, Penn.
He's 6'4" good defender. He's a high division athlete. Somebody who has played up against NBA players and probably done a competitive job guarding them. He's a pretty good athlete. I've seen your tape. Chill, you were a good athlete. All of your athleticism. If I took if I got you $1 million to take care of your body every single year, It's not going to help you guard. It's not going to help you guard Kyrie Irving. All that help ain't going to help you guard Kyrie Irving. That dude is going to break you into a pretzel. Break you apart. Okay.
Sure.
The amount of control, the amount of freedom that he has to carry the ball, to manipulate the basketball is some shit you didn't see in the 80s. I'm just being real with you.
With that being said, though, with everything that you just said, and I want you to continue the point, but with that being said, being able to take care of there's a difference between having talent, having athleticism, and just not being good. Now, okay, a guy like Kyrie Irving, I think he's an exception. I don't think that there's anybody that's slowing him down like that. I think
you ain't slowing down Darius Garland either.
There's
you ain't slowing down Jordan Poole either.
Okay,
like him, but there's guys in the 90s that you're not slowing down either. It's guys in the 80s you're not slowing down. It's guys in the 60s you're not slowing down. Like
Ron, if I put you on the court in the 50s, respectfully,
this isn't about me. This is not about me. It's not about me. It's about we're talking about. No, I don't want to make it about me. I want to make it about the NBA players that we're talking about. That's what I want to make it about.
When you give offensive players this level of control because you're trying to make the game more exciting, the defensive player that is being asked to guard that player has a different job. Okay. When everything is designed for freedom of movement on offense, then you can't guard Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Nobody can. Okay. But there's a reason for that. He is some shit you haven't seen before. The way that dude moves, trying to stay in front of him is a different challenge. Okay. Sure. I think we can all acknowledge the bigger athletes face very different challenges. When you go above 6'6", 6'7", you are not designed to move the way we are asking these guys to move. And now you're asking a 6'9", 6'10" guy to close out 32 feet and then recover. And then the speed, we can all agree that Adu Thiero, who has not played a single minute, if you've watched even a minute of Adu play, you can agree that if that dude came just randomly into the 60s, people would be calling him a superstar. And that's not a knock to the 60s level of talent. That is, however, a knock to the athletic evolution of training. Like all the stuff you're talking about, you're saying is like a positive for athletes. Well, for all the training that Adu Thiero got, for all the scientific advancements that have allowed Adu Thiero to become this level of athlete, for all that stuff, the fact that athletes are now able to focus on basketball 24/7.
Pen, I think we're arguing two different things, though, and I think you make a valid point about not being able to cover a guy. However, that has nothing to do with my ability to stay upright and to stay on the floor. That has nothing to do with it. If I am able, because of these amenities, to stay on the floor, the fact that I can't guard Kyrie Irving, that's something different. Now I got to be smarter defensively. Now I got to do stuff defensively to be able to keep myself in front of guys, as opposed to now me being able to stay on the floor. I can't do any of that if I can't stay on the floor. I can't guard Kyrie Irving. I can't guard SGA. I can't guard any of these guys. I can't close out on Steph Curry if I can't stay on the floor. None of that matters. And the way for me to stay on the floor today, is because of the amenities that we have. Being able to get massages.
Y'all just told me 2 days ago this is the most talented top 20, top 30, top 40 we've ever seen in the league.
5, Pen. We said 5.
Okay, go down the list. I guarantee you this is the most top.
I said since 2003.
You realize how talented the league is right now?
Are we saying it's only... But Ron, you started it. I'm just asking a quick point, Mars. Just speak up for 2 seconds. Just open your window real quick.
Speak up, Mars.
Are we not saying that we're consensus that the top 10 and 15 is like?
No, it's not a consensus.
Okay.
It is clearly a consensus. You know how I know it's a consensus? When I was talking about the stars that are injured, I didn't even bring up Jaden Ivey. Y'all can't guard Jaden Ivey.
Jaden Ivey.
Hey, Pen. Jaden Ivey. Pen. Chill.
I know some teams Jaden Ivey wouldn't even make.
Jaden Ivey is this era's J.R. Ryder.
I know some teams Jaden Ivey wouldn't make.
Talk about it.
What?
Chill. Hold
What team is that?
Chill.
The Monstars?
Maybe.
What team would he make? That is a 5-star recruit. That is a top 5 pick, and that is a blazing.
What that got to do? What that got to do with him not even starting on his team?
What I'm trying to tell you is speed is relative. If the dude guarding you is just as fast as you, you're not going to look that fast.
He's a star.
If I throw Jaden Ivey in the 1960s, you're going to be talking about this dude like he's the fastest athlete you've ever seen before.
Okay, but Pen, but you know what? But you know, hold on, right quick, chill, because you keep bringing up the fact that athletes are faster, athletes are stronger, all of this. Well, if everybody's getting faster and everybody's getting stronger, then it's the same thing for a guy today to have to guard an opposing offensive player as it is in the 90s. If the athleticism of everybody's increasing, then what's if they're both elite athletes, then they're both elite athletes. It's not like somebody in the 90s has to come in today's era and guard these elite athletes. They're all elite athletes. So it's the same thing trying to cut this guy off as it was for them then. It's the same. If everybody has to run the same distance, if everybody jumps at the same height, then it's level across the board. So you can't make that argument, Penn. That doesn't make any sense.
Is a disingenuous argument. It doesn't even come close to capturing the complexities of today's NBA. And frankly, the number of
so is that why guys are getting injured? That's what this argument is about.
No, that's not why guys.
That's what this argument is about. Is it because these guys are making movements that they've never made before? Is it because they're Euro stepping? Is it because they have to slide here, slide there, close out here, backpedal here? Like what is it? I didn't even want to have to take it here, but it's been taken here. Why is there injury crisis?
Okay,
why, Penn? Why are these guys injured?
Okay, you just want to hear yourself talk, or you want to hear my answer?
No, I want to hear you talk. I'm asking you a question.
Okay, if there's
my intellectual curiosity.
Okay, great. Your intellectual curiosity. Shout outs to you for having some. Okay, if there's a pie chart, it's a 10% sliver for the actual number of miles per game. I think that the reason that I say I wouldn't focus on that, because I don't think that's a reason for injuries. I think there is more court that needs to be covered. Okay, so that was something that started happening around 2008, 2009, when three started to become more prevalent. We had to guard further out into the court. So I say the geometry of the court has changed because we're not playing inside a narrow 17 to 18 foot box anymore. I mean, go back to anybody who thinks I'm lying. Go back and watch the 90s Bulls. Go back and watch the early Shaq and Kobe Lakers. Okay. Yeah, you had a 3-point shooter out there, but they weren't dynamic ball handlers that you had to close out to. Okay, they were standstill shooters. They were the Robert Ory's of the world. Okay, I'm disrespecting Robert Ory and Rick Fox, but they are not ball handlers like that. Okay, they're not going to break your hip.
So are guys getting injured due to having a guard perimeter player? Is that what you're saying?
If I would take,
stop right there, and that's not true. Guys can shoot the long ball and come off the long ball line and put the ball on the floor, but again. What we're doing is we're arguing two different things here. We're arguing injuries and we're arguing guys being able to play. I'm
arguing the change of direction, the amount of times that a player has to change the directions in a single game.
Sure.
The amount of time on a single play that a player has to orient their body to move in a different direction at the speed and velocity at which they have to do it is the reason why I believe there is more injury. Because injuries, honestly, I'd love to tell you the injuries, there's like a simple little thing, but a giant part of this pie is actually just missing, and that is genetics. You cannot control for that. But what I can control for is exposure.
But they're all bigger and faster.
Athletes are bigger. Yes, athletes are bigger. They are faster. They are stronger. And then the people who have to guard them have to accommodate accordingly. Defense is always
they're bigger, faster, and stronger too.
These
defenders that you're talking about are bigger, faster, and stronger too. Lou Dort's the biggest, strongest, fastest defender we've ever seen.
He's 6'4".
J-Dub too.
Nobody's saying that. But all I'm saying, what my point is, Penn, is you just mentioned that these guys have to cover more space. Okay, if they have to cover more space, it goes back to my original logic with Swiper. Okay, well, I got a car that's traveling faster. I got a car that's traveling through different terrain. I got a different mechanic now, a more advanced mechanic who can keep this car on the road. That's what these trainers are today. That's what these doctors are today. And that's what they're training for because the game has advanced. If we had that years ago, then these guys who cared more about playing basketball than the stuff that came with it, I think you'd see a different product than you see today. These guys that play today, the amount of amenities that they are afforded and how good these guys are, I'm not asking to play through broken bones. I'm not asking to play through torn tendons. I'm not asking to play through separated shoulders and things like that. No, I'm not asking to play through that. But the amount of amenities that we have today and the amount of guys that sit out with these injuries that we have, I think that it's a bit much.
This is the only sport. This is the only sport where we actually have a debate about like past eras versus this era. Like nobody is debating track stars are just way better today. Nobody's debating.
Wait, hold on, Penn. Read the super chat, please.
Oh
please.
Man, what the fuck are y'all talking about? It's by Drench Man Sports. Man, what the fuck y'all talking about? Why won't we stop running that many miles? Why don't they stop doing all these moves that give them these injuries? Was that my Jordan impression? Was that spot on?
Yeah, that was good.
That's a
Ron, can you
Shout
answer
out
that super
Jordan.
chat,
Jordan,
please?
my guy.
And from a real place, can you address that, please? From a real place.
I mean, he's basically what Jordan's saying is if this is what's going to get you injured, then why are you doing it? Am I mistaken?
No, but what do you think about that? Do you think they should stop playing modern NBA basketball?
How are we supposed to play basketball?
Well, I just want to know. I want Ron to answer the question directly. He's the hooper. He's the 6'4" athlete apparently. That's like, great defender. I'm asking you. Please tell us, high one. Do you think they should stop moving as much as they do?
Oh, high one. Okay.
I don't think that they move that much more than they used to.
Yeah, you high.
I don't think the movements are that much more complex. We've had this discussion before. I don't think the movements are that much more complex. Is the game spread out more? Yes. But it's no new movements to basketball. It's not like you have to defensive slide a different way and close out a different way and help a different way. It's the same thing. And,
yes, you do.
And chill, you closed out in the 90s the same way you closed out in the 2000s.
I wasn't closing out 26 feet away from the basket.
Oh, hey, you might not have been. I was. You might not have been. I was. It's not a different technique.
Ron, you're not closing out 26 feet away from the basket like you were in 1997. You're not doing that, Ron.
Yeah. So chill.
You're not coming around.
I started by saying that though. Yes, the game is more spaced out, but you still closed out though.
Did the Bulls have the best? Did the Bulls have the best offense 96 Mars? Or was that the Jazz? Or the Sonics that year?
The Jazz had it in 98. I know that. They had the best.
I would have guessed like Orlando or something, but I'll check.
Well, the only reason I'm asking is chill is again because we're on.
They were first. The Bulls were first.
They were first. Okay, I thought so. Just the context, right? So chill. Take that context. You can pull up the 1996 NBA Finals right now, and you can watch the Chicago Bulls run their offense. Ron, I'm not done. I'm talking to Chill. Chill was
Swipe.
I'm talking to Chill.
But you cut me off though. So I just want to make one point. No, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you. No, you good. I ain't tripping. You could go. I just want to make one point. There are offenses that are stagnant today too. We can go watch the last finals and watch players on OKC standing around watching Shea dribble. Just like players were standing. Now that's different. No, the same way they were sitting around watching Jordan dribble, they sit around and watch Shea dribble. We can go. To be fair, players on the Wolves sit around and watch. Players on the Wolves sit around and watch Anthony Edwards dribble too.
No. You're going too far. You're going too far. No, Ron, I agree with you.
Why am I going too far?
Because the Thunder have 40 games plus of sample size to show that.
Every team has possessions where they sit around and watch people dribble too. Like that's
90 possessions per 48 minutes is what that 96 Bulls team averaged last year.
Okay, but we can go to the we can go to the 80s, we can go to the 70s. If you want to go with possessions and pace and stuff like that, we can go to other areas where it was heavy pace too.
Just to finish this
down the court.
So Ron, I agree with you on SGA. You remember in the NBA Finals, I was up here saying, and Mars can attest to this, he was passing the ball 29 times a game. I thought that was crazy. They were stonewalling their own offense. I said that at the time. That was nuts. That he was taking almost as many shots as passes. That's just not a modern NBA. You just don't do that. I think if it was a different situation, different team, the outcome could have gone differently for the Pacers. I've already said this, but I do think though, Ron, there's something too that like when the Bulls and Jazz are playing in the finals, we're literally watching what's happening. It's a lot of standing around in contested paint. That's just what the NBA was.
Same thing today,
no, it's not.
Swiper.
It's not. But Ron, hold on. Let me finish. The read under you're being disingenuous is you watch the Cleveland Cavaliers. That was the best offense in the NBA last year. They do not stand around. They don't. They factually do not. The Nuggets absolutely
in the playoffs, they were standing around watching Donovan Mitchell chuck up a bunch of threes. Why do you think he averaged 35?
No, Ron,
I'm telling you today's game is
you're cutting me off to agenda push.
It's so basic.
You're cutting me off to agenda push.
No, I'm cutting you off to get this off. The game today is so basic.
So do you want to go in order or no?
The game today is so basic, and you guys hype it up. It is ghost screen, ghost screen, ghost screen.
Can you explain what a ghost screen is for the audience?
Ghost screen, ghost screen, 3.
Can you explain what a ghost screen for
3.
the audience, please, if they don't know what a ghost screen is?
It is a fake ass screen. That's what it is. It's a
so
fake
you're saying
ass
they don't
brush
set
screen.
screens in the NBA?
It's a fake ass brush. No, I'm not saying that they don't. It's pick and roll, ghost screen, pick and roll, ghost screen, ghost screen.
They only set screens in pick and roll.
Hey, it sounds like mumble rap to me. It looked like mumble rap. Pick and roll, ghost screen, pick and roll, ghost screen, 3, 3, 3, 3, ghost screen. I promise you, I can make a hit off of it.
Ron, if you would allow somebody else to talk, because what you're saying is nonsense.
Host.
I'm not.
Ron, you gotta stop.
You know what?
Ron, you gotta stop.
You know what? No. Swipe it right.
Ron, you gotta stop. You gotta let people talk.
We're going to be on Playback tonight,
dog.
And I promise
Miami's a bad team to watch.
you.
They don't run pick and roll.
Pick and roll, ghost screen. Pick and roll, pick and roll, ghost screen, ghost screen. 3, 3, 3, 3, ghost screen. 3, 3, 3, 3. Like Ron.
You literally could have picked a worse game to watch.
The issue is with you, Ron.
And we're still gonna see it though.
Ron, when you don't want to get into
pick and roll.
Ron, when you don't want to get into the frying pan to talk what's actually happening, you start yapping and you go on these
rants. All right,
Swiper,
put me in the frying pan. Go ahead, I'm gonna shut up.
It doesn't need to be a frying pan. We're in an open discussion. Again, Ron, you're doing the same thing. It's been the last 5 minutes. You're doing the same thing. Damien in my line, he's doing the same thing. He's just talking through.
Swiper,
go.
You're yapping right now too.
No, Ron, just chill.
Would you like me to drop?
Would you like me to drop you? I'll call JD.
I want you to make the point you're trying to make.
Okay, I got you.
I want you to make the point you're trying to make.
Sure. The issue, Ron, with what you're saying is you're lying. They run plenty of screens in the NBA, plenty of them. Not just no, because you just lied and said all they run is ghost screens in pick and roll. This is factually not true. Factually not true. They're running less pick and rolls in this era, right now, today, in this year, than they have in previous eras. That's number one. Number two, off-ball movement is the king of NBA offense.
What era? No. Rewind. What era? Because I'll put 10,000 that you're lying. What era?
Ron,
other than the 2010s, which was just yesterday, what era do they run more pick and roll in? All right, proceed. Because we're both lying now. Proceed.
Ron, you better ship me some ads.
The issue with Ron's assertion is, number one, he's clearly lying about the screens. Mm-hmm. He's clearly lying about the offensive movement. And you just said they ran the same kind of movement. They were moving just as much in the 1990s, which is wrong. So all of this started with the injury stuff.
No,
I
just want to correct what I said.
I'm about to drop you. I'm about to drop you and ban you. I'm about to drop you and ban you.
I want to correct what I said.
This is too much. Chill.
No, it's not too much.
Are you kidding me? Chill, am I acting out of line?
Is it me? Too much.
Chill, is it me?
Swiper, but you're not going to say something that I didn't say. What I said is, I didn't necessarily Swiper. I said it's not more complex. I said it's not more complex movements. I said the movements aren't more complex. Yet they move today more. It's more spaced out. Yes, you do have to close out. You have to cover more range. I get that. It's not more complex movements. You're not doing nothing today that you never did in the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. It's no new movements. It's no. All right, chill. All right.
Ron, I'm not gonna lie. This is literally your worst performance of the year because you will not stop talking.
I don't care.
Ron, the problem is you think you head honcho in this convo and you ain't because you're lying. I
don't have to be head honcho. I'm telling you my perspective.
But you can't say definitively something is not happening and then be wrong about it.
You're saying definitively something's happening.
I'm trying to respond to you, but you're not allowing for other people to counter what you're saying.
So what is the new movement?
You're wrong.
What's the new movement? So what's the new movement? Can you tell me the new movement? No, I want to hear from Damien. Damien, can you tell me the new movements?
This is crazy.
Can you tell me the new movements?
This is crazy. No, I'm done. I'm sorry. Ron, go to the background.
You guys are bright here. Damien, what's the new movements?
Chill.
Damien, what are they?
You're moving. Chill. Is he not moving the conversation? Is he not moving to somebody else because he doesn't want to get fried? Chill. You just said, and Chill is he's the one that's supposed to be, quote unquote, the old head. That's Ron. Chill. You just self-admitted they're doing more on offense and doing more movement now today than they did whatever era he's talking about in the 1990s. And when you watch your Cleveland Cavaliers play, that's your team. When you watch your Cleveland Cavaliers with Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, and Dean Wade, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, whoever's on the floor, and they're generating open look after open look after open look after open look, having the most proficient offense in NBA history last year. Chill. I'm asking you dead. Are they running the same offense as teams were in the 1990s.
That's not what I said. That's not what I said. I never said anything about an offense.
You said there's no new movement. You said there's no new movement. You said there's no new movement. You just said that.
So let me describe.
No, you can't keep.
No, let me describe. You don't. What do you mean I can't? Swiper, you're not understanding what I'm saying. This whole argument, this whole debate, the title of the show is the NBA injury wave is getting scary. We are talking about injuries. We're not talking about offenses being run. We're talking about injuries. What I'm trying to say is the players aren't running different than they used to run. They're not cutting different than they used to cut. They're not backpedaling and jumping different than they used to jump. Players don't land differently than they used to land in the 70s. You jump and you land.
Not true,
Chill.
Ron. And the reason why that's not true.
Are you fucking kidding me, Chill? Are you shitting me? So you mean to tell me that somebody that was born in the 2000s and they happen to be an NBA player today, jump, run, cut, slide, and sit in a defensive stance differently? They move differently. Their bodies physically move differently.
His argument across the planet.
No, I'm not. This is
moved your
the point I've been
argument
making
across
the whole
planet.
You
originally started by saying offenses are. You originally, by the way, started this thing about offenses not doing anything different and only running go screen, go screen, go screen, go screen, go screen. That was incorrect.
I did make that point.
But Ron, the issue is you are literally physically not allowing anyone else to counter what you're saying and you're interrupting them in process. Do it again. Do it again.
You are literally the one moving the argument. I started here. You brought it here.
Where did I bring it to?
I took it there. You brought it here. The argument started, the debate started with me saying that there's no more complex movements in basketball than there has been in any other era.
Okay, so you're wrong.
Players don't move.
So I'm saying, so you have to allow someone to counter. You have to allow someone to counter. You realize
Then counter it.
Okay, you don't want to listen to me, so
the issue. And Ron, that's the thing is like when I begin to try to give my oration to counter what you're saying, you're then cutting people off. Ron, I just brought up a very specific example with the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I'm asking you, you're saying what the Cleveland Cavaliers did with Kenny Atkinson last year is no different than anything they've ever done in any other era.
No, I'm not saying
you just said
offense. No, I'm not. Swiper. The game has Swiper. The game has.
He said that they're moving different. So. When guys attack, Ron's point is when guys attack closeouts, they're not attacking closeouts different than they attack closeouts in 1995. When guys guard in the post, they're not guarding different or they're not moving different than they did in 1987. When guys are sliding on defense, when they're in the defensive stance and they're beating guys to spots, they're not moving differently than they did in 1994, something like that. Ron, that's just not true. And the reason why that's not true is, number one, the athlete in the game is different. I got to guard Giannis different. I got to move different when I'm covering Giannis. I got to close out, and I got to close out different when I'm closing out on Devin Booker than I would have to close out on another shooter. My body has to be different when I'm closing out on these guys. I have to be stronger.
But they're all bigger and faster,
Ron,
but they're all bigger and faster, though.
They are bigger and faster. And that's the point, Ron. That's the point that I'm making. The fact that they are bigger and faster, the fact that we have the amenities that we have, they should be able to be on the floor more.
Ron said they're not running, backpedaling, and jumping differently than they did in the 1960s when the conversation was never about that. It was never about that. It wasn't about people backpedaling. Where did that come from? That's like such an obscene point.
Because Penn said, see, Swiper, you're the one that's all over the place.
I'm not. I didn't make the argument. I'm not arguing Penn's point.
Okay, but you stepped in.
No, I was already arguing with you. What are you talking about? How am I arguing a side point that I wasn't making when I was countering you about how offenses are different today in the 1990s? How does that involve me? You then heard Penn to get off your own dumb argument, and then you tried to say, well, look, they're not backpedaling differently, they're not jumping differently, they're not closing out differently. When that was never a part of the conversation. I didn't bring that up. So don't address me about something I didn't bring up. I asked you a direct question. Ron, answer the question directly for once. Or do the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Denver Nuggets, and Boston Celtics play the same kind of offensive teams were playing in the 1990s?
No, they don't. The
Okay,
offense
then-
is
then
the
there we go. Then there we go. Now finally an address. So he acknowledges he lied. He's acknowledging he lied. He's acknowledging that you lied. Okay, cool. We can move
No,
on.
I didn't lie. I didn't lie. The offense is different. Duh. The air is different. Duh. The game is different. Duh.
You
the
just
players
said
are
they
different.
weren't.
Duh.
You just said they weren't.
No, I didn't. That's not what I said. That's not what I said. Obviously, the game is different. What I said is, let's not act like players don't still stand around. That's what I said. And also what I said is, let's not act like teams don't run goal screens that are bogus. That's what I said. I said just because it's different doesn't mean that it's not whack.
Ron, can we get back to this?
That's what I was saying.
Okay, so can we?
You will really appreciate this.
Absolutely.
Chill. You will really appreciate this. So I decided, you know what? If you're not going to listen to me, maybe you will listen to one of the best NBA trainers that I know. So I hit him up and I said, what do you want me to say here? And this is what he is saying about this conversation, which he's actually listened to. Shout outs to John McCall from Craft Athletics. He said, players are stopping and going way more lateral movement defensively because they can't hand check. Also more lateral movement because of offensive rules, like you said. Bigs have to guard on the perimeter and recover way more single leg contact finishes. Players take off with the same leg and finishing with the same hand way more too. Way more single leg planting.
Not a complex movement.
Okay. Because you have to close out higher, the recovery is way more because they drive out and kick and you have to go and close out high again. More threes mean longer rebounds, which means more running, which means more fast breaks, running, etc. And bigs also shouldn't be moving like guards. Bigs are now moving as like guards as well, which is
a prime example would be last night with Rudy Gobert. I think Rudy Gobert is a great drop defender. You get
Correct.
Rudy Gobert 26, 27 feet away from the basket, and now he's got a hedge, which he really shouldn't be, but he's got a hedge, but he has to. Why? Because guys can shoot from out there. And I got a 7'2" dude having a guard 26 feet away from the basket. On top of that, when the double team or the hedge gets split, now Rudy's got to get downhill. We didn't have that going on years ago. That wasn't going on. And I think that's the point when we're talking about offenses and we're talking about guys being able to stay on the floor, because now I'm more prone to injury if I can't handle that, if my body isn't prepared to handle that. But with that being said, we have people who afford the amenities for me to be able to stay on the floor today.
Chill, to your point, I think there is a school of thought in the sports science world. I have a degree here somewhere in this room, but there is a school of thought that when we talk about the injuries in the NBA, we don't know if players are conditioned as well as they should be in terms of volume. So we hear now teams don't practice, right? They're not on the floor. Paul George talked about this a lot. And is that to the detriment of how much a professional athlete's body can take? That's a school of thought. I'll say that. But two more things I want to say. If the Miami Heat are a great example this year, where we should all keep track of them because they're playing at a pace that's going to break NBA records if they keep this up, right? But what's going to happen is, because the velocity they're playing at, it's not going to be sustainable. So I think down the line, they're going to start getting soft tissue. Guys are going to start missing games because the pace they're playing is too high. And the last point I wanted to make was, when someone like Michael Jordan comes on national TV and does an interview about load management and says that guys should, what else are they doing with their 21 hours in the day, when he wasn't the prime example, by the way, or a champ. He shouldn't be championing something that he didn't do. But it's hurting the game. Jordan coming out and saying that is hurting the game, especially when he retired a few times because he was physically and mentally exhausted. So I think, coming back to the original point, I don't think it's good for the game if someone like Jordan, and I think that it dilutes conversations that we're trying to have as well. When on one side we can acknowledge, maybe players are a little bit softer, but on the other side, we have to acknowledge that the game has advanced to the point where the physical toll on the body is at an all-time high.
Fair enough.
All right, fellas, we're going to get into the crunch time chats. A lot of you guys have sent through a lot of super chats. We've went over a lot of things, so this should be fun. This should be interesting. The first super chat I'm going to start with is from Sale Talks. Sale Talks said, increase Franz's usage, decrease Paolo's. Not because one is better, but the team is better when they both have a higher usage. Anthony Black has the second highest usage in the fourth quarter through 5 games. Coach Mosley is not helping P5 or Franz right now.
I don't think that they get enough production from their league guards.
I think they should continue
That's
to
what
let
my
Anthony
issue
Black
is.
have possessions. It's the whole early part of the year's development. It should be Franz and Anthony Black if you're asking me, but
according to Dean Oliver, Paolo Banchero is over the
Has he
last
been worse
couple of
than
years.
Suggs?
Yes,
Sorry.
Anthony Black has been worse than Jalen Suggs.
Of course he has, and probably will be for a very long time. Paolo is the second most inconsistent player, according to Dean Oliver and his analytics model.
Who's the
He
most
is
inconsistent?
CJ McCollum. And also he is he is the Magic's highest clutch time player and their second or third worst clutch time player. So in terms of like, I don't know, like early sample size is one thing. Like if we're looking at 4 or 5 game sample sizes for 5-man lineup stuff, that's a lot of noise at this point in the season. We need to wait until, I think Swipe has said 21 games is when you start taking that stuff seriously. I agree with that. That's yeah, like, I mean, it's a quarter way through the season that gives you a healthy sample of which lineups are working, which lineups are not working. But this Paolo thing, like the numbers have been screaming at us for years, Joe. They're better without him. They're better without him. But you see his talent and you're like, how can they be better without their best player? It's crazy, right?
Because maybe he just doesn't fit. That's probably what the biggest thing is.
It's possibly because he doesn't fit. But when you differentiate between him and Franz, he is bigger than Franz, and they're around the same size. But he seems like bigger than Franz. He's got a more dynamic handle than Franz. His game is maybe, the highlights are definitely a lot better than Franz. He was the number 1 pick. Franz was the 8th overall pick. Okay, we get it. There's more of a financial commitment to him in terms of like investment. This is our franchise guy. Sure. But Franz is a lot more discerning about where he picks his opportunities. Whereas Paolo is kind of just like, I just feel like taking a shot right now, and this consistent issue with the Magic, right? Like when a team is bad offensively, we all point fingers and say, well, it's because this guy's not doing this and this guy's not doing that. If a team doesn't rebound, we say it's because their big isn't rebounding. If a team is bad offensively, we say it's because they don't have shooters. For years, the argument for, continuing the course with Paolo has been he doesn't have enough shooting around him. Well, we gave him KCP last year. KCP sucked next to him. KCP was great next to Jokic. That to me is like, that's the gap. The gap between Paolo and Jokic as offensive creators is the gap between like me and you as as athletes. You know what I mean? It's a big freaking gap. Okay. So when I look at that, I'm like, okay, now we tried the Desmond Bane thing. Early sample, Desmond is struggling as well. At what point do we now start to point the finger and say, maybe this is a Paolo
problem
issue? It might be a Paolo issue.
And maybe
Paolo's the only one on the team.
No, he's not the only one, Mars, but he's a part of this problem because when I watch Paolo's game, and you know how I feel about Paolo in terms of his talent, but I think that he does a little bit too much. I think that there's things that he could simplify in his game to make him more effective. And the things that he does, I think he overcomplicates things. Like, for example, when he gets a draw and kick where he's 17 feet away from the basket, instead of just catching it and shooting it, if he gets at the long ball line and then he gets a closeout on him, a 1 dribble pull up right to the left, right to the right elbow, which is I've seen him make that shot. That's a simple shot. But instead, he'll do something different where he'll put the ball on the floor, then try to drive into 3 guys and throw it off the glass and then try to rebound it, which overcomplicates the offense. I think that with Paolo, I think that if we could simplify we can simplify his game and make him more effective. And I think that also starts with the lead guard because I don't think we get a lot of production from their lead guard. And I think that ultimately is with their coach.
Well, you can run offense through Paolo because he is a capable passer and a good ball handler and a downhill threat to score. Sure. If he could use Desmond Bane as a screener and run that sort of like 4-2, 4-1 pick and roll inverted, now we can create massive separation. That's what Giannis is doing with Gary Trent and Ryan Rollins, right? You can get mega separation when you're 4 or 3, you're big playmaker. Like, the archetype here that we're all trying to go after is LeBron, right? Obviously, everyone's trying to model after LeBron, whether it be Franz, whether it be Paolo, whether it be Cade Cunningham, whether it be Luka, everyone's trying to do the same thing. So if you can use a guard, and the guard has to be able to do 3 things, has to be a good screener, and Desmond Bane is that. Like, I think Desmond Bane can be a really solid screener. Has to be a threat to pop, out to about 25 feet. So the separation on that screen can be very interesting, and then has to be a good decision maker himself. Like, has to understand how to move and react to the defense. Desmond Bane is that as well. He's proven that in Memphis. So I think that's the real reason they brought him there. Everyone's like, oh, they brought him there to be the point guard and space the floor a little bit. I think that's one part of it, but I think it's to make the two players on your team deadly, which is Franz and Paolo, being able to use him as a screener, and then invert it. You can also do the traditional pick and roll, or maybe you can do go screen, pick and roll, go screen. You know what I mean? Like
3-3-3-3, go screen, go screen.
I just want to say one quick thing: go screens are not useless, Bron. They are definitely not useless. If you watch how defenses react to the threat of a screen, it is actually quite a useful action. So crazy.
I think you can put Paolo. I think you could put Paolo in that. I think you could put Paolo in that action, but I also think you can put him in actions on the block where he can be more effective too. I think simplifying his game is the solution. Like, we are stuck in this modern game where you're the big guy, you got to be able to stretch the defense. I don't think that Paolo was that effective at the long ball line. And because he's standing out there, I think that's taken away from their offense and them being more effective if he played one closer to the basket, if he played more downhill in space where he could get to the basket. I think he'd be more effective in that space as opposed to drawing kicks to Paolo. I don't think that that's his game, and I think that it makes their offense one clunky, and I think it makes it inefficient.
When I watch Paolo, I think sometimes of Carmelo Anthony, where Paolo, if you're a player like Carmelo or Paolo, sometimes when I see, you have to be so good offensively if your intentions are to never make anyone else better. Like, Pen, you made the great point of KCP was there alongside Paolo and Jokic. The difference between the type of shots KCP was getting with Jokic and the type of shots he would get with Paolo and Franz was the Grand Canyon. And it's because Paolo doesn't have ever the intention to make others better. And I think you have to be so good offensively if you don't have that in you. And I'm not saying he has to have that, but I think also some of this stuff with the Magic is just early season trying to integrate Desmond Bane, who's a big offensive piece for them. But I do wonder, I think, Chill, to your point, if we get Paolo in the block and things like that, will the Magic be a better playoff team than they'll be a better regular season team? Because I think they can get in the mud defensively, but I think them trying to play with pace when it's a little bit clunky and Paolo's taking ill-advised shots sometimes, I wonder if this is going to ultimately end up being a better playoff team than a regular season team.
Because I don't think you're not maximizing him when you don't put him in the post, right? And again, I'm not saying that he's got to play primarily in the post like Karl Malone and every time we're just dumping the ball into him. No, I'm not saying that at all. But, to your point, when you're talking about a guy who doesn't make guys better, I mean, Paolo can pass the ball. And I like the fact that Paolo is a good passer. I think that we can use that. I think we can use that weapon of his to our advantage if we had him closer to the basket, if we had him at the pinch post spot where we were operating in that kind of space, as opposed to having him on the wing at the long ball line running drawing kicks. He's not nearly as effective when he's doing that.
What's up, Swiper?
Is it possible that Paolo is just a more, well, and this is a question, so is it possible that he's just a better version of what they had in 2021 before they made the Aaron Gordon trade? He's not meant to be that kind of a player within the system. He's just an uber talented Aaron Gordon, and therefore
he is so much better than Aaron Gordon.
No, he is.
But I know what you're saying. There's a possibility.
Like, is he being overused? Like, is this just not a star role? It's not the role for him as like a number one. He needs to be legitimate.
Maybe it is. It's just not. You could be a star. Swiper, really quickly, Pen. Swiper, I could be a star in a movie, and you can dumb down my lines. Like, I don't have to have a bunch of different lines.
Sure,
I could still be the star in the movie. And I feel like with Paolo, like, you're giving him a whole bunch of lines and you putting him in a whole bunch of different scenes when he really doesn't have to be in that many scenes to be the star.
You saying
so you would reduce his role, but I guess that's what I'm saying. Like, does he need to be reduced next to, Mars a point guard? Like, are we looking like a Kevin Durant, need a primary playmaker? Does he need a big that's like an elite big to play off of? What would be the best role for him to be in? Mars,
you asking me?
Yeah, sure. In your estimation, I know he obviously is a all-star, all-NBA caliber player on his own at times, but we're kind of waiting on that next step from him, obviously.
I don't know. I think he's just kind of clunky. I guess I would prioritize a primary ball handler who can knock down shots, but I don't think that solves the problems. I just don't think he's I think he lacks functional athleticism. I think that's the biggest problem. To be honest, I don't know how you use him.
Do you think he's clunky because of the offense, or the offense isn't bad because Paolo was clunky?
I don't think the Orlando offense is helping anyone, including Paolo. But I don't think Paolo's helping the situation either. And I don't think it's just a Paolo issue. I think Anthony Black having the ball as much as he does is a problem. I think Wendell Carter playing as much as he does is a problem. I think the lack of outside shooting on the whole roster is a problem. I wasn't that high on this team before the season. Like, the final stuff was like way out of left field to me. The biggest issue I have is that Orlando aren't playing defense this year. The offense was never really going to be good. I never believed that, Desmond Bain solves everything. I didn't subscribe to that. Yeah. But the fact that they're not a good defense to start the year, that's the bigger concern for me.
But why can't they be good, Mars? Like, they got Desmond Bain is a positive offensive. Like, again, in theory,
they need a point guard. They need a true point
positive offensive players. I don't think Jalen Suggs is a bad offensive player. For whatever it's worth, I don't think he's overwhelmingly positive. I don't think he's bad. I don't think.
To start here.
I mean, for sure, and I think Franz is a good offensive player, very good. If nothing else, getting downhill, just his basketball IQ. I think Paolo is a good offensive player in a vacuum. Again, if I just look at the skill sets and I watch him play, seems like a good basketball player offensively. I think Wendell Carter has a lot of strengths offensively. Goga Bataza has a lot of strengths offensively. And I think Desmond Bain is a great offensive player, like a very, very positive offensive player, especially in a third option role. So why don't these pieces fit? If I put 5 good offensive players together, it should work into a half decent offense. I'm not saying you got to be top 10. Can you be top 15? Why are we bottom 10 every year? That's what I want to know.
We're early in the season. They can get there. We're very early. I think
I wouldn't bet on it.
If Damien, if I told you they finished this year as a top 15 offense, you surprised?
No, absolutely not.
Oh wow,
I'm surprised.
I would be
because
surprised.
I think it takes time to integrate a piece like Desmond Bain, who's supposed to have far higher usage than KCP. I think with the Paolo stuff, I think the efficiency is concerning as well. I think he's 73% from the free throw line. I think he's 44% from the field for his career. He's never shot over 45% for a guy that's 6'8", 6'9". But I think Orlando just need a point guard. I think any version or any half version of Chris Paul, any half version. Yeah, but he's not he's not a natural sort of floor general like a Chris Paul, like a Rondo. If Paolo had someone like that, and it doesn't have to be to the
if you gave
neither is Derek White. I mean, look at
they starting point guard is playing 19 minutes a game, and you know why he playing 19 minutes a game? Because he doesn't give them the offense necessary. Because of that offense, he doesn't give them the offense necessary in order for them to be productive. That's the biggest
problem. It's because he didn't play in preseason, and he's.
I'm sorry.
I think someone needs to make the game easier for Paolo.
In fact, I'd argue he's been probably one of their more consistent offensive pieces.
Damien, if you replace Paolo with Luka, like a healthy Luka, that is a top 6 offense.
That's the gap between them is significant. There's significant gap between them as offensive players.
The utilization of pieces. First of all, this idea of guy shows up, so we have this long runway to get him integrated. First of all, I don't agree with that at all. I think there's certain players that fit everywhere, and then certain players that are hard to fit. I think Desmond Bain is a highly portable player, and I think it's a little bit like OG Anunoby, right? I'm not saying they're similar players or whatever, but Desmond Bain is a highly intelligent player. He does a lot of different things on the court. He has a very diverse skill set as a movement shooter, as a standstill guy, as a secondary ball handler, as a defender. He is not a tough guy to integrate into any offense. I'm telling you right now, if Indiana traded for him tomorrow, he'd be flowing in that offense within a week. It was the same thing as Pascal. Pascal, again, in theory, pretty portable guy. OG Anunoby, pretty portable guy. There are certain guys that just fit. They're just instinctively good basketball players. Danny Avdija is a pretty good, example of a guy who just kind of fits. You don't need to change everything for him. You know what I mean? There's certain players where you do.
Yo, fellas, I'm gonna keep it pushing to the next super chat. Appreciate whoever sent that last super chat through. I'm sorry, it's been a while. I don't remember your name. But the next super chat is from Tens220. 10 said players in the 90s were on steroids. 90% baddies playing 82 games a
I think he
night.
meant Baldies, I think.
Oh,
I'd assume.
90% baldies or baddies. Playing 82 games night in and night out with worse meds, food, exercise, routine, and they are better athletes. Yeah, right.
well, to be fair, I still make an argument if we're doing steroids and saying that like that diminishes you. I still think Barry Bonds is the best baseball player I've ever seen in my life, and I don't care if he was on steroids. So steroids made you better. Whatever.
Penn, I could dunk the ball backwards at 21 years old, and I was living on McDonald's and Top Ramen.
Yeah, that's genetics.
When you say chill?
3-2. What'd you say? 3-2. Blue Jays up.
I'm sick of hearing that shit, yo.
You said you were living off
Blue Jays.
McDonald's and ramen?
I was living off McDonald's and Top Ramen, and I was playing Division I basketball.
Yeah,
but chill, in the 90s,
And I could dunk the ball
McDonald's
backwards
wasn't processed though.
They
Like,
weren't
what?
not as
80,
bad,
90,
not
80,
as bad as
80,
it is now.
90%.
That
Yeah,
shit is awful.
not as bad as it is now. 80-90% of the food that we eat is processed. Damien, I know you're living in a different place. Mars, I know you're living in a different place. In America, the food is garbage
dogs
now.
and Top Ramen.
The food in the 90s and the 80s was 100% better than it is now. It just wasn't as processed. It wasn't as much garbage. Food was a lot more natural. Meat was natural. Didn't have steroids. So the food part, I disagree
It's
with.
way worse.
Fast food has always been
Everything
processed.
else,
But it's way worse.
everything
now, though.
else, I can get with you on that super chat.
You know why?
Everything
Because the federal government has, they pulled back all of the protections on like what you can put in food and all that. Because like, hey, lobbyists, boom, 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 and so like they're poisoning the people. But to be fair, chill. I used to be able to go to like Subway, get 3 footlongs for $12 when they had the 3 for $12 special when I was like a kid. I would crush them joints, and I felt great after. You know what I mean? But like, yeah, you just you can't eat the same anymore. If you ate McDonald's right now for 1 year, you might not be with us. You might not be with us next year.
Chill, you were talented though. That's why you could dunk like that.
Facts.
Huncho said, I said this right after the draft lottery. Cooper's 19, Lively is 20, Christie is 22, PJ is 26, and Gafford is 27. That's already a great young defensive lineup. If I'm the Mavs, I'm getting off everyone over the age of 29.
Trading Luka to go into a rebuild 6 months later is crazy.
But it's very, like I said earlier, I think it's very plausible. Like this could get really bad for the Mavs really quick. I don't mind that approach.
Who's the worst player you would trade
Damien,
AD for right
really,
now?
To be honest with you, Damien, it sounded like a great idea at the time.
For who?
It did. For Dallas.
Almost sound like a
It
great
did.
idea.
It
To
sounded
you,
like a
to
great
you or to
idea.
Nico?
It did. It sounded like a
Well,
really good
yeah.
idea.
You thought?
think
Yes, it did.
Chill. Who's
Well,
the worst?
we had the discussions in February. Chill was on side.
Oh, I can't remember. I was so delirious that
I said
that happened on a
said that
Saturday
it was-
night, and we came back on a Monday. So
And I said what I said, Swiper, at that time. I said it was a win-win for everybody. It was a short-term win for Dallas, and I thought it was a long-term win for the Lakers. That's what I said at that
damn.
time.
So chill, and you get the better player and younger player. What is it? Chill. Who's the worst player you would trade AD for right now?
The worst player I would trade AD
Like
for
Pascal
right now?
Siakam, like Indiana Pacers, or like what?
See, I'm different. See, here's the thing, Swiper. I'm different than a lot of
Jaylen
other
Brown.
people. Like I'm one of those people that like once I'm in it, there is no out. I got to figure it out. I
So
already
you
did
staying
this.
in a bad marriage?
I got to figure it out.
You staying in a
Man,
horrible
I
marriage?
have-
He'll divorce Luka, but Anthony Davis, nah.
I
He won't figure it
got to
out.
figure it out. Now again, now remember, Moss. Remember what we're talking about.
What's the
because you bring
equivalent
that
of a
point
bad
up.
Achilles in a marriage,
Okay,
Mars?
you bring that point up. Remember, Moss, I was with Luca for what,
Bro.
6
So
years,
your
and
wife
it was
gets fat.
we had our issues, and we had our issues. I came into this thing with Anthony Davis knowing this was short term, and I knew this was a 3-year window. I knew that going into this. This wasn't something that I came into it going, yo, I'm gonna give this 4, 5, 6 years. No, the window is 3 years to win it, not to be good, get to the playoffs. We already been to the NBA championship, and we got annihilated on defense. My idea was, okay, I'm gonna get one of the better defensive bigs in the game. I already got two young guys in terms of bigs that are really good glass cleaners. I got Kyrie Irving, which I did not anticipate him tearing up his ACL. That kind of threw a monkey wrench in what we were trying to do, right? It did throw a monkey wrench, and on top of that, losing Anthony Davis for the rest of the season. But now we're still in that window. It's 2 years. That's what I got, Mars. I don't have 4 or 5 years to do this. I got 2 years to do this. And if I don't do it in 2 years, I'm in a lot of
years.
trouble.
So chill. You invested. You invested more money in the company than them for 2 years, and you're not going to get any profit off that. How you feel about that?
Well, again, I don't know that.
So you just it's an aspiration deal basically.
I do know that you got 0 years to make this happen. You got
they're not winning the title, chill.
Years.
I can tell you that
they're
right now.
not winning the title this year. They're not winning the title next year. It ain't happening. Like we can just get past it. Okay, you build it around Cooper Flag now. Thank God. You know you can thank your lucky stars somehow that league gifted you the #1 overall pick so that you can sell a rebuild to your fan base. But let's just be real right now. Like you're not winning a title with the corpse of Klay Thompson and whatever the hell else you got going on around there, right? You got Cooper Flag, you got Derek Lively, you got Najee Marshall. Build with that. You know you got Christie and shit like whatever, man. Tank, bottom out, try to get AJ DeBonster there, try to build a dynasty.
And you know what else, Ron? They ain't got
Tank.
You're 2 and 3, and you might have just lost your best player for an Achilles tear.
No, it's not torn. It's not torn.
He definitely didn't tear his Achilles.
It's not torn. It's not torn. It's not even partially torn. Ron,
so what's the recovery time?
Well, it's supposed to just be
Achilles. The way tendonitis works is you just need to rest. So like he's been dealing with it for years. Like tendonitis doesn't just magically go away. Like he's been dealing with it. They just shouldn't have played him when he felt soreness. That's the only thing.
So you can be dealing with this for months.
How many times have we seen a player say Achilles tightness, Achilles soreness, and then 2 days later they play through and it's a torn?
Yeah, but let's not think
he
about
didn't tear his Achilles. I think we can see
cool.
He didn't tear his
So yes, fair to say he did not tear it, but also fair to say at this point with Kyrie out, with you experimenting with 6'9", 6'8" Cooper Flag at point guard, Johnson. Yes, shout outs to the white Magic Johnson. It really isn't. It really isn't worth the long term. Like I would do a 1 year, kind of tear it down, run the pups out there, give Kyrie until the last week of the season, and then maybe just exhibit the last week of the season. I just think like with the way the West is going, you can't afford 2 bad weeks, right? Like you just can't, and you're about to have 2 bad weeks right now.
Pin, the thing about it though is the Mavericks are still in a very privileged position. Either way they decide to go. If they do decide to just push all the chips in, which for all intents and purposes, that's what we believe they're doing. They still have two top 20 players in the NBA, top 15, top 20, top 15, a top 10, a top 20. That's not what I'm arguing. They have 2 very good players. They have 2 high-end players, and they have a good defense and a good roster around them. Come playoff time, if this is a healthy team, this is a very good team. This is a team that is a legit contender. However, if you're saying, okay, go in a different direction, build around Cooper Flag, let's get off of this. They still have 2 very good trade assets in Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving, who they can flip for, something good, draft picks, younger pieces, whatever. So like either way it goes, they're still in a privileged position. Am I debating whether it's better than what they would have been if they had Luka? No, that's not what I'm debating. I'm just talking about where they're at right now. Either way it goes, the Mavericks they're going to be good one way or another.
Oh my God! Did you just see the Nikola Topic news?
Yeah, yes, testicular cancer.
What is the news, Pin?
He is undergoing chemotherapy for testicular cancer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
God!
They caught it early though, so.
Okay, well, first of all, prayers.
We've seen this movie before, right? So this isn't a death sentence. Not only that, I mean, Karis LeVert, he had cancer also. They caught it. He's still in the league.
Mm-hmm.
So we've seen examples of this. So let's let the glass is half full here. The guy's not going to die. Let's chill out.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen many multiple people that have had this. I'm sure Chill has. Ron, you're old enough, obviously, too, as well. Penn as well, and Damien, I think you're in your 30s. I can't remember. Yeah, I've known people with this, and they have been able to bounce back with a normal life, normal functioning life as well. So this is not. Thankfully, they caught it super early, and then they can just get treatment, and then he can move on with the rest of his long life.
Yes, sir.
All right, y'all. On to the next super chat, and definitely prayers up to Nikola. We hope he puts this in the past as soon as possible, and we hope to see him on the court as soon as possible. But aside from basketball side, man, we just want to see you healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And to anybody else out there with going through any form of cancer, whether it's you, whether it's your family, Player's Choice in the panel, we have you guys in our best interest. We have you guys in our prayers, your families in our prayers, and we hope that everybody gets better sooner than later. All right, Zigsaw Puzzle sent through a $20 super chat and said, are we ready to have the conversation? Should the NBA reduce the number of playoff games to best of threes and best of fives just for the health of the athletes? Are injuries and deep playoff runs the reasons there are no repeats since the Warriors in 2018?
No, I don't think that's the issue.
Oh yeah, the Raptors won, in my opinion, because of Warriors injuries. Penn can disagree, but I think that's why they won. The Lakers won in 2020. I won't say that's because of injuries, but long layoff, all that great stuff. 2021, the Lakers and Heat are dealing with injuries. That's probably one of the most injured playoff runs in history because of such a short turnaround off the bubble. 2022, the Bucks miss out on their chance to repeat because of Chris Middleton's injury. Then who won in 22? Then Celtics in 23, I think they just lost. Jason Tatum got hurt in the playoffs, but I'm not going to say that was because of them having a lengthy postseason run. He just landed on someone. And then 24, Denver were dealing with injuries in the playoffs that year with Jamal Murray, and he was not really right the whole year. And then this past
Is that a
year,
different series?
he won and Tyrese Halliburton just tore his Achilles. So I mean, injuries have been a part of like every champion.
And that's always been the case. I think
Jason Tatum just tore his Achilles coming off the championship. So like, yeah.
And I think that's always been the case when you know whoever the healthiest team is, because not every team when teams win the NBA championship, you know, there are a lot of teams that stay healthy. I mean, I think that a lot of that can be, you know, just fortune. It's not necessarily like just the guy is injury prone. I mean, Jason Tatum was an Iron Man. Jason Tatum played almost every night, and the fact that he tore his Achilles. I mean, same thing. I'm not going to say that with Damian Lillard, but Damian Lillard is older, so he's probably more prone to injury. But I mean, we can say that about a bunch of different champions, right? We can say that about a bunch of different champions that because they ended up getting hurt. I mean, because on their way to getting to the NBA championship, teams got hurt. I don't think that lessening the games does anything for that. And oh my God, Ron, that lessening games thing sounds nuts to me. It sounds like just getting more for less, and it's a conversation that I'm just not prepared to have, because I just don't like it.
Getting more for less?
The problem I have with Chill
shortening the NBA season, but still getting paid the same amount of money.
Why would that affect their money?
Okay.
Why would that affect their money though? That just doesn't make sense to me, Chill.
Yeah,
it's a guaranteed contract, and it's your salary.
It's guaranteed based on the fact that we're playing 82 games.
Your salary, salaries.
I'm not about to argue. These guys need to make
they are always based on market value relative to who you are. Sure. Not even based on the basketball court. You already earned the money back on the basketball court, literally in the beginning of the season. You're being underpaid relative to your market value because there's a cap system. So they're already underpaid based on how much they could be making in a free market. So no, like this shouldn't affect money at all. LeBron James brought the first year he met the Cleveland show, he brought them $500 million. The first season he got back in Cleveland, he didn't see a dime of that. A dime. He got paid how much? What, $35 million that year? $30 million that year?
He got paid $30 million.
Bronny paid for his 4-year contract within a day or something when he got drafted. And Bronny's not even a good NBA player.
Exactly.
So yeah, I'm not about to be arguing these guys need to make less money because there's less games. The owners are making way more money off the back of these players. 82 games or no. I'm not about to be like, yeah, you guys need to take
whether they're good or not.
LeBron on $50 million is making 10.
I'm not even talking about the owners. I think that's where the divide is. You guys are talking about the players. I'm not talking about the players. If I got 41 games, so if I got 41 games in Dallas, well, if you want to cut the season or you want to cut playoffs, instead of me having 41 games, I got 30 games. Well, that's concession, that's parking, that's the people that work here.
You own the team. I have a better solution.
The billionaires. No, guess what? You just have more time to.
I have a better
rent
solution.
Out the arena for other events.
Expand the roster size.
What other events do I have?
Every stadium is used for other events other than just the sport. Every one of them.
I can promise you that there's not something going on all the time in Salt Lake City. No,
it doesn't need to be. It doesn't need to be going on.
So it's not.
Chill. Remember, they're the largest.
The billionaires going to make about.
They are the largest indoor venues, the largest high-tech indoor venues in the state. Guess what's going to happen
when he's making that less money, Mars? That means that he's got to cut money somewhere.
Get this? You will never get a reduced season. It's not going to happen.
But why should the players have to pay for that?
I agree with Penn too.
It's
It's
never
getting reduced. It's
advertisers
never
are-
getting reduced.
There's this media rights deal. They signed up for a certain number of games
Yeah.
every single year. You're not
It's
cutting
crazy
that.
to me,
You're not
bro.
cutting them out.
They're employees, man. Why should the employee make less money when the owners are raking in hundreds of millions of dollars, whether they're good or not?
Yeah, this
clearly
is
I'm not
not
gonna be
like
able to do that.
Swiper. I'm actually on your side on this one, and I'm on Mars' side too, where I'm like kind of like fuck owners, but at the end of the day, like they have a say in all of this. So my solution would be, again, just started watching baseball. Kind of interesting. I didn't know that pitchers don't typically pitch on back-to-back days. I didn't know
they
that.
don't.
They do not.
And
They don't.
there's a
5 days.
recovery time, right?
Mhm.
So
5 days.
so what I'm saying is, I think that if you expand rosters to 18 to 20, I think there's enough
Oh.
talent in the world. I think there's enough talent in the world to
Dilution.
compensate for this. And I think it will allow a little bit more insurance and depth. And teams are just going to have to adjust that. I actually, instead of building my roster 9 deep, I actually need to build my roster 12 deep, 13 deep, carry prospects. And that way, when you do end up with a serious injury situation like the Indiana Pacers, you can go a little bit deeper into your bench. Because I'm telling you right now, every single year there are players playing in Brazil, players playing in Italy, players playing in France, players playing in Turkey right now that I think are reasonably good players that are better than a lot of the players that are in the NBA right now.
They've been trying to do this. They've been trying to do that in the NFL for the last 2 CBA agreements to expand the 53 game day roster to 57 or 60. The owners
I didn't know
will
that.
not do it.
That's news.
They
But we
literally
already
will
got
not do
we
it.
already got 3 two-way spots. Okay. So if we expand that to 4 two-way spots, okay, just listen to what I'm saying. We've gone from 15 players on an NBA roster that can play for your team, right?
Mhm.
What we're talking like 10 years ago, 15. We moved that to 17. I want to say
And then
3 years ago,
10.
and now we're at 18. So they're already doing it slowly with these two ways. So I would say add another two-way, add another roster spot. Now you're at 20. Teams carry 21 players into training camp every single year. This year in training camp, I only speak from the Raptors perspective because that's the team I cover. We cut David Roddy. David Roddy's an NBA player. Sorry to tell you,
Facts.
David Roddy.
It ain't
David,
no sorry to tell you. He is.
If David Roddy came to your local gym, David Roddy dropping 100 points on y'all right now. He's a really good player. We have to cut him. I'm telling you right now, he's better than at least 10% of the league, but there's no spot for him. So I think this is something that the players can get on board with. And I think this is something the owners can get on board with too. Have 2 injury exemption spots, or like had 1 two-way spot and an injury exemption spot, which you just carry that player. They show up to practice. They're in your practice. First of all, a 20-man roster makes a hell of a lot more sense than an 18-man roster. You can actually have 4, you can have 2 practice squads, an entire red shirt, team that can be like a veteran player. You know what I mean? It also is beneficial to the players because it'll allow some of these older players like Kyle Lowry to hang on to a roster spot a little bit longer, because right now you don't have space for dead weight on your roster. You don't have space for Thad Young, Garrett Temple, Otto Porter. You don't have space for these guys because you need productive players on those contracts. But what about these young kids that need a Udonis Haslem? So I'm saying keep a designated injury spot, add an additional two-way spot, and just allow the talent that's coming through the next few drafts to actually stick around the league a little bit longer. That's what I'm saying.
The problem I have with reducing the number of games in the NBA season is that you're messing with the history. And I think that if you reduce it to 60 games, for example, like people suggest, how can anyone challenge LeBron's scoring title, for example? I think that has to be something that feels like, all of us probably think it's unattainable, but it has to feel like it could be broken someday. When you mess with the history of the game by cutting the games, I think it's a dangerous thing to be doing, especially when these debates, especially on national TV and here and everything, is dictated by player legacy. So I think that's we have to be careful.
I can get with that. I can definitely get with that.
I think that's a bigger problem. Maybe we shouldn't be so focused on legacy.
I agree with both of those points from Penn and Damien. I also agree with everybody that's liked the video. I agree with everybody that's subscribed. Now, if you haven't, I'm going to save my choice words for you, but go ahead and like the video if you haven't. Shout out to everybody that's on Facebook. Shout out to everybody that's watching on Twitter. If you haven't followed us on those platforms, go do that. Also, as mentioned earlier, we will be on Playback tonight, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. We'll be watching Bam Adebayo and Khalil Ware do their best to lock up Wemby and contain him. So y'all pull up on Playback once again. We will see you guys there. All right, y'all. I got more super chats. in a lot of them. So let's get to the next one from Born Center, a $19.99 super chat. Born Center said, just watch the flu game the other day. No GOAT disrespect. Just watch the pace. ... Jogging in transition. Little movement off ball. Swing, entry pass, hook or fade away. Not arguing the product, just the physical demand.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Swiping is comedy, I swear.
People don't know. Me and Ron are like best friends. So we do this because we love and respect each other. Again, I'm a self-made merchant. One day, all of my when I'm a rich man, I will be a self-made merchant. All my suits will be tailored and decked out and self-made. But I'm just saying right now, Ron, when you be lying, you be lying. Hey, what did Medea say? Lying is in your name. Lyola. Say it with me. Lyola. That's how you say lawyer. Lyola.
Look at how he watered you down with that nice little compliment just to throw you an insult, backhand slap right at the end, man. Swipe would be
I'm
wild.
telling you, when we're on Playback tonight, for everybody that pulls up, and there's not going to be no lying when I point out the fact that dudes are standing around, swing. What do you say? Swing, post up, hook shot, fade away. Swing, 3. Swing, 3. Swing, go screen, pick and roll, go screen, 3. Watch, we are going to see this tonight.
Wait, Ron, do your little song.
And when
again?
we don't
Do your
see
little song
that,
again?
and when we don't see that, you're gonna bury this take worse than you buried your Hanson Yang propaganda.
But here's the thing, though, Pin. Here's the thing, and shout out Hanson Yang. Things aren't going as well as I predicted. But here's the thing, though, Pin. On
Better
every
than
possession,
Donovan
Pin, on every possession, that's not going to happen. Just like in the 90s, every possession wasn't a swing, post up, hook shot, fade away.
No,
Yeah,
see,
go
Ron,
down.
the point is you have a massive
You gotta watch one of them
where
mid-teams,
things that you
it's kinda
think
like
you
that.
want to talk about a lot and things that don't agree with what you think. For instance, if Scotty Barnes has 1 point in preseason, you want to talk about it. Scotty Barnes had 9 or 8 points the other day. You wanted to talk about it. You soloed through that. But he had 31 points last night. Crickets. 33 points two games ago. Crickets.
I mean, we could talk
We're
about the
supposed to
fact that
make
you
that
guys
the
are on
show?
a 4-game losing streak if you want. We could talk about
Trash.
we
Garbage.
suck. But
Yeah,
you
like, we
garbage.
could. Like, if you really want us
we
to talk
got
about
99 problems, but Scotty Barnes ain't one.
He's still in that spot. That's
That's great, but at the end of the day, I think you'd rather Square Barnes be a problem and your team be winning, as opposed to, oh, hey, Square Barnes hooping, but we suck.
Yeah, well,
Unless
the
you're
thing
more of a
about
Square
it,
Barnes
Pin,
fan than a Raptors fan. I don't know. I don't know your alliances. But
Ron,
the
why
thing
is
about
that?
it, Pin,
Why-
we can't talk about Scotty Barnes because we got a lot of super chats. Like I said, we have 50 of them, and we have high-paying super chats. So unless one of your Toronto natives sends through a super chat about Scotty Barnes and how well he's been playing, unfortunately, we will be talking about
they ain't got no money in
Blazers.
Toronto. It's all spent on rent, man. They broke up there. All right, go ahead.
Man.
Go ahead. They ain't got no money to spend on super chats.
DSG Piccolo said, Blazers FC, we up, nigga. Had to beat the Jazz and the refs. That fourth quarter was nasty. Drew been hooping. West Group C, a group of death. Need these rotations crisp for Denver Friday night.
that's the group with the Spurs, the Nuggets, the Warriors,
The Houston Rockets.
and I'm Houston, yeah. It's a tough group.
Why is
I've seen
Drew
OKC's
Holiday's
group. It's
having
got
a
Phoenix,
resurgence season?
Utah. Because Drew's good at basketball. Crazy.
I didn't
Yeah.
even know that the groups.
He's
came out. Like, wow.
having an up
Yeah,
year.
chill,
Ron,
chill. We had an episode where we discussed the groups. It was months
Yeah,
ago when they
and
first
we all,
dropped
yeah,
them.
and we all laughed at OKC's group because it was Utah, Phoenix, and them. It was trash.
And the Kings.
Yeah, like OKC got like the easiest run,
What the hell was
but
that?
it's cool.
Yo, Damien, what's good?
why is your pick and roll song kind of catchy though? People.
That's why the NBA
is
is
vibing at people in the chat.
Need to put a beat on that.
I like it.
We're gonna drop that
Sounds
soon,
like
y'all.
No,
All right, where is Cheese sent through a super chat and said, we kind of discussed it a bit, but he said, where is the Magic falling short? Why is the defense worse than ever? And is this a coaching issue? I just want to know without it being a Paulo versus Franz debate.
I think
the only one on the roster playing
defense
defense for was Jalen Suggs. That's why, and he playing 20 minutes because of a minutes restriction. Fran's defense hasn't been great. Paulo's defense hasn't been good. Wendell has
Jonathan
been
Isaac.
terrible on defense. Jonathan Isaac doesn't look playable. they're all over the place. Orlando, like defensively, they're all over. Desmond Bain has been bad on defense. Tyus Jones is one of the worst players in the NBA. I refuse to be gaslit about this man. He's not good. It's just it's bad. It's concerning in Orlando. I'll say it's concerning.
I think defense comes down to communication and trust a lot, and sometimes defense is the place where you can really see how a team is clicking off the court, right? Because if we're not fucking with each other off the court, I'm definitely not calling that screen out for you. I'm definitely not recovering to help you on the corner shooter that you left open. So it's a connectivity thing as well. And the more complex your defensive scheme, the more aggressive your trap coverages and at the top of the key and stuff, the more rotations, that you gotta communicate, the better your communication has to be. So I just don't think their communication is great.
Ben, you've been a really good teammate lately. I want to say that to you.
I've been a good teammate.
Mm-hmm.
I can't take compliments, right?
I don't know, because he called somebody in the group chat Consuela, and I don't know who that is, but
I take that. I by the way, Morris, just so you understand,
I was trying to say you were a man of culture.
I'm almost a month through, not all the way a month through Duolingo, and can't say I'm doing pretty well. By the time Bad Bunny gets here,
¿Cómo te llamo? ¿Cómo te llamo?
By the time Bad Bunny gets here, I'd like to finish this first. By the time Bad Bunny gets here, I'm finna be cooking.
That's why you're learning
¿Cómo te
Spanish?
llamo?
Yeah. I mean, I got the Puerto
First
Rican
of all,
background. and all
stop
that.
saying Consuela. It's Consuelo.
Well, it's
It's
male.
like
Pin said his name.
Yeah, we don't know how Swiper.
Yeah, we don't know that. Swiper, is it Consuelo or Consuela?
Consuelo. Make
Okay,
sure.
okay.
By the
Now-
way,
now we
also
have
too,
confirmation.
Ron,
Now
just
we
so
have
you know,
confirmation.
double L, J sound, not L, J sound. Puerto Rican double L, J sound. Make sure you remember that. And roll your R's. Let me hear your R, Ron. There you go.
Yeah.
Let me hear you roll your R's, Spin. That way, that next time somebody makes you mad, you can go.
Hey,
I'm
Swiper.
not a good enough teammate to be your little, puppet here. I'm not doing
Puppet.
that for you.
Ron did it. We're friends. That's what friends do for each other. They support one another.
Pin. Remember?
Make goofs in front of themselves in front of 20,000 people. No, I'm good.
All right. Hey, I guess you're not a good teammate then. Big Ox
I
Media
already told you
said
that. Shit.
Big Ox Media, a guy who's been ducking he ducked the smoke yesterday. I don't know where Big Ox is today. Chill, I don't know if he'll be on Chill with you today. I don't know what's going on. All I know is Big Ox Media for the second day has not been on the show, and for the second day has sent through a super chat. Big Ox Media said, y'all should have been in the gym growing up instead of on 2K.
Oh,
You were too easily impressed. The NBA is superior talent, but not advanced basketball.
Cool.
Can we get an excuse for why Ox has he been speaking on his Kings? Has he been giving Russell Westbrook praise?
Worst. Okay, there's only one team in a worse situation than actually there's no team in a worse situation than the Kings. I was gonna say the New Orleans Pelicans, but I can't make the argument because I really like Jeremiah Fears. So you know what? Like I think we should probably take the best G League team, whatever that team is. I'm not following the G League that much right now. Elevate them to NBA status, and then demote the Sacramento Kings to the G League.
Damn.
I believe that should happen.
Like
so
they
Russell
do in
Westbrook,
the Euro League and
absolutely. This 100% chill. You should not be allowed to be this bad and this incompetently run and this stupid. Who thought this was going to work? Who on earth thought? Wait, I know one panelist who thought this was going to work, but the rest of the people in the world know this was not going to work, right? Russell Westbrook, Zach LaVine. Oh yeah, and we're going to pick up 60 feet. Okay, y'all got it. Fucking crazy, man. And Doug Christie has the nerve to say we should have been 4-0. Y'all should be 0-4. Y'all should legitimately be 0-4. You got lucky.
Now, but some of that games have been close, to be fair.
They can blow,
man.
Weird roster.
OKC game was
shout out
close.
Russell Westbrook and shout out Doug Christie.
My ass. If you watch that OKC game, they were up 7, and I would have bet my house that they were going to lose that game.
You have a house?
That's fine. That doesn't change that the game was close. Whether or not
you bet your title. Would you bet your title to the house
win.
on the next Kings game?
It doesn't change that the game was close.
What?
You bet your title to the house on the next Kings game?
Who are they facing?
I don't know, but I might take that bet. Let's see. I need another house.
I'll take a blind bet.
So, I'll take a blind bet.
The next game the Kings play, they play.
Come on, Pin, hurry up. Shake, hurry up.
I want to know who they're playing.
They play the Bucks.
Oh, I'll take that bet. I'll take that bet.
Giannis going for 50. Okay, good luck.
I'll take that bet right
He
now.
might, yeah.
How many floors is your house? You got stairs? Are you rich? You got stairs?
Am I rich? Do I got stairs? I got stairs.
Yeah, hey Ron, back in the day
I got
growing up,
stairs.
you got stairs in your house, you was rich. You got stairs?
There's a $50 super
I
chat
got
about
stairs.
Scotty Barnes, Ron.
What?
Oh, they got money in Toronto?
He
Oh,
said
they got money in
Toronto. He said
Canadian,
US
bro.
dollars. He
I
said
thought
US
y'all was
dollars.
broke in Toronto. My bad. My bad. Y'all been taking L's since
That's
last
not
summer. That's my
Canadian.
fault.
That's not
That's
Canadian.
USD.
You see a CAD there?
USD.
That's an
Yeah,
American
that's
super
USD.
chat.
Yeah, I know.
By
That's
the
a
way,
Toronto native, though. He's from Toronto.
No, shout out to Uncle Dad because he just gifted 10 memberships to Pinsara Basketball yesterday. He became a member of Pinsara Basketball. And now this dude coming over here spamming super chats. Okay, Uncle Dad. Shout
Wait,
out.
he follows you?
Yeah.
I thought y'all was broke in Toronto. My fault. Y'all got $50.
One of the
Well, y'all ain't got
richest, one of the
100.
most-
Y'all ain't got 100 in Toronto. No, I know that.
Swipe
I
up.
know that. You definitely ain't got 100 in Toronto. Y'all ain't got no money for real. Let me
Free
go ahead and
health
empty
care,
them
but no
pockets
money
out.
in your pockets.
Go ahead and empty
Hey,
them
Pick-
pockets
They got
out.
baddies
More
of
money
beaches.
than
Hey, matter of fact, hey Ron, you know how you know they got no money in Toronto? Penn had that same hat and headphones for 3 years. They ain't got no money in Toronto for real. Let me see $100. Let me see 100.
Hey, Pink, can you read the super chat?
Swipe up. I got books on this shelf that are worth more than your entire life. Okay. So
I see 2K. I see 2K16 back there, brother. I see How to Make Me a Millionaire back there for dummies. Let me see. Zoom in on the left side. Let me see what else you got over there. You got the Art of War, bro. You got that in school, dog.
No, I did not. I got books on the top shelf that are okay. Maybe worth more than your entire life is crazy, but definitely worth a couple $1,000s for some first edition.
Pink, you should have stood on business. But can you read the super chat?
Yeah, if you can, try
Ron,
slowly.
can we talk about how good Scotty Barnes has been playing so far?
Can we, Pen?
Let's talk.
Yes,
Let's
we
talk
can.
about it.
Yeah,
What do you
can we
impress? What do you
discuss
impress the most with, Pen? What do you impress the most with?
I am impressed the most with his shooting development so far. He's been beastly from three. He didn't even take a single three in that first game, but he's been getting to his spots. He's been cooking. He's been cooking in the mid range. He's been playing more off the ball as well, but he's playing a lot with the ball. So there was a lot of talk when BI got here that Scotty's going to settle into the third option that he'd been his whole life. Well, he's the leading scorer on the Raptors right now, if I'm not mistaken. Right. And he's been super efficient. And that was the big criticism against him last year. Sure, you're averaging nearly 20 points, but you're not very efficient. Previous year, not very efficient. This year, very efficient. And I believe he is playing with the worst, if not second worst, starting point guard in the NBA, who is consistently making offense and life hard for him. He runs in transition. He cuts backdoor, nothing. Can't get the ball from this dude. Emmanuel Quickley is single-handedly strangling the Raptors offense in transition. But when BI got the ball, when Sandro got the ball, when Jacoby got the ball, when Jamal Shed got the ball, one cut for Scotty Barnes and it's an immediate, dunk. And I just love the overall, I did not like what he did in San Antonio. There was a second half in San Antonio where I would argue he just quit, midway through the game. He was sick and tired of it, kept asking for the ball, kept getting missed. And the second half, he's just baseline to baseline. I'm just going to run, whatever. I'm just going to run and stay out of the way. But right now he is just, he's leveling up as a shooter. He's had a couple of hot starts before in previous seasons. I'll remind people the year he became an all-star, he was shooting 40% for the first 32 games. So I'm not, I'm not quick to jump off oh my God, we're past the shooting issues thing. No, there's some shooting issues, but he looks comfortable shooting it. He looks very confident. Took 6 or 7 last night. So I'm very, the one thing I will say, as much as we want to talk about how good he's been playing, I would like to see him rebound a little bit more. The Raptors got out rebounded by 30 last night. 30. Now, granted, we started a 6'6" rookie at center against the tallest starting lineup in the NBA, so we were bound to get crushed. And Steven Adams got everything he wanted last night. But overall, when we fix the Emmanuel Quickley problem, if Jakob Poeltl's back gets okay, I believe this team is going to be a 45-win team because Scotty and BI are absolutely awesome. Shout outs to Uncle Dad.
There you go. There you go.
Anything
I
else?
don't have anything.
I don't have any, that was a $50 super chat, guys. Nobody.
I got nothing about Scotty Barnes. You're a little
I ain't
clunky.
got nothing. I ain't got nothing to say about Scotty unless he got 100 on top of it. That's all I'm asking.
Still a little clunky. And you know how you and I have had this conversation, Pin, and I didn't love the Scotty Barnes switched on the Sengun minutes. I didn't love those, but
why not?
Hey, Pin, I will give him this. He's shooting 53 from the field, 55 from three, 80 from the free throw line.
I compared him to Nafisa Collier. I compared him to Nafisa Collier this past offseason. Coming out, being Nafisa Collier, bro.
It's just about sustainability now, right?
Why do you have stank face on right now? What part of what I said is so absurd? I think Collier? He is. Yes, I see him as an Nafisa Collier of the NBA. Yes.
Hey, Penn, I will bet you
beat that boy 11-2.
Yeah, I'm good. I bet I'll buy you another house if he ever reaches Nafisa Collier status in the NBA. I'll buy you another house. How about that? If he ever becomes the second or first best player in the world, I'll buy you another house.
It's not about Scotty Barnes. It's about the style of play. It's about the skill set. It's about the limitations. Nafisa has limitations as a player. She has overcome them by becoming an excellent shooter. You don't want to see Scotty Barnes be a great shooter, because if Scotty Barnes becomes a great shooter, then all that clunky, slow first step stuff that's Chill always talks about, the handle and all that stuff, that's going to go away real fast, because now you have to give him a head of steam.
Mars, I saw Josh Smith have a good shooting stretch too, so I wouldn't be impressed.
The reason why I didn't like the Sengun switched on the Sengun minutes is because Sengun took advantage of him. So
no, he didn't.
Yes, he 100% did. I'm watching him close out on the Sengun at the long ball line, and he's actually knocking down threes. In the process of him knocking down the three, in the process of him doing that, because I saw the game too.
Knocked down threes against OKC too. What does that have to do with anything?
Exactly, and I don't like. And I don't
5 of them actually. You only made one.
I don't like him switched on to him off the strength of the closeout. That's number one. Number two, when guys like Jabari Smith were getting to the rim, dropping the ball on the floor to Sengun, Scotty Barnes was at a disadvantage underneath the basket because Sengun basically cleared him out and overpowered him. And that was a problem for you guys. And it was a problem on the glass. That's exactly what I saw happening.
So who was a better option for Sengun yesterday?
Colin Murray Boyles.
Yeah, I think he's even smaller than Scotty Barnes.
He is smaller, but the issue with Sengun is not height or.
Yeah, I agree.
We don't have a good matchup for Sengun. I am cheat sheet for you.
Your problem is definitely
that's my point. They didn't have a big yesterday, so
we don't have a great matchup for him. The problem,
it was him on CMB.
The problem with Scotty versus Sengun is RJ. RJ doubles off the ball. Like a single play that I will describe for you yesterday. Scotty had Sengun in jail. Okay, on the left block, he had him in jail. Okay, RJ decides to double off of the corner shooter, which is Amen Thompson, thinking, hey, I can just double off this guy. He's not going to take a shot from the corner. I don't care. The millisecond he starts moving towards this totally out of control, totally ineffective double on Sengun, Amen Thompson starts cutting backdoor. Now, what does Grady Dick have to do? Well, Grady Dick's the worst defender in the NBA, so he ain't going to do shit. Okay, now Grady is the low man on an Amen Thompson cut, and all Alperen Sengun has to do to counter this good Scotty Barnes defense and this weak ass double from RJ Barrett is throw the pass right over Scotty, which he does, and Amen Thompson gets a wide open dunk over Grady Dick. My point is the defense works. Scotty's a great defender. He's a phenomenal defender. He's a top 15 defender in the NBA. But you need to give him some pieces to work with. The lineup we had yesterday with Scotty Barnes, Jacoby Walter, Jonathan Mobo, that lineup with no defensive liabilities, Jamal Shed, these are all pesky, proactive, good defenders. That lineup actually won minutes against Houston last night. It's the lineups with Emmanuel Quickley, Grady Dick, RJ Barrett on the court at the same time with no center. What the fuck are we doing? We just gave up 139 points back-to-back nights. This defense is ridiculous.
Yo, chill. I gotta step in because we gotta move on, fellas. I need you guys to lock in. We gotta move. We got 53 super chats, and we got an hour.
I haven't talked about one game last night.
But when it's time to talk about games, let's lock in.
No, we're not talking about games. We're talking about super chats. We got about an hour. We got 53 super chats, so let's go ahead and make it happen.
Yes, sir.
We have Hall of Famers too that I do want to shout out: Delsky, Teddy Hart, R. Wade, Kingster, Rob Deere, Vale, my man Bulletproof, shout out Amir, my man Small Boxes, shout out Daniels, Brett Bovia, Cheese, shout out to Cheese, the membership MVP. Shout out my man Jean-Marc Skeet Nielsen, Multi-Kenny, and Worldwide Mace Television. Those are our Hall of Famers. If you're not a member yet, click that membership tier, join up. You could be a chatter, you could be an all-star, but why not be a Hall of Famer? All right, the next super chat I got is from shout out Drench Man. He sent this through earlier. We already acknowledged it, but I just want to shout out my man Drench. The Trib One said, no threes really. Only one cut of play. Pick and roll only once per quarter. And then you'll probably get 90s basketball. Fast breaks will be similar. If we went back to that, we'd have a lot less injuries. Y'all want to go back to this?
Yeah, if we get worse, then maybe we'll have less injuries. I agree.
All right. The next super chat I got is from Nash Incognito. Shout out to Nash. Nash said, Ron doesn't process what's happening on the court. If you can't tell that there's more movement today than in the 90s, you can't be helped. Lying about ghost screens is hilarious. All right.
There are a lot of ghost screens, to be fair.
A lot of
Spam pick and roll.
A lot of them.
Forgot to warm up, sent through a super chat and said offenses are better. But also, today the elite guys hunt more matchups, bringing worse defenders to the action or into the actions, and the elite defenders are more willing to switch.
Which is super corny. Instead of just getting around screens, ghost screens in particular. That's why we have the mismatches that we have, because these guys just concede the ghost screens.
I mean, look, to be fair, a ghost screen with a shooter that's hard to cover. The Lakers were doing that with Austin Reaves and LeBron in the Western Conference Finals in 2023. And Austin Reaves would come set a ghost screen because they didn't want to get a double. They didn't want Jamal to switch on LeBron. So then Austin Reaves would slip to the left wing, and then they got that action twice and made back-to-back threes on it because they didn't want to give the switch to LeBron. So it's just hard to cover.
So he would set a goal. I want to make sure I'm following you. Austin Reaves would set a goal screen.
Yeah, so on the left, on the top of the right wing, Austin Reaves would bring Jamal Murray, and then Aaron Gordon. He set a screen on Aaron, but then Austin or the other way, and then Austin would slip through the screen, but they don't want to switch because they're having to show and recover. The problem is if you show and recover, there's a hesitation there. Austin's running alone by himself. And then now it's a 3-pointer with 4 feet of space, which is open.
But here's the other side of that. If you're telling me, because it sounds like we're talking about two different things. Because if it's a ghost screen, I'm not getting screened, which means I don't have to worry about switching. I don't have to worry about hedging. All I have to do is just stay with Austin Reaves.
No,
that's it.
Well, yeah. If the defense told you, if the offense told you, hey, we're not actually setting the screen, it's going to be a ghost screen, then this would make sense. The reason people prepare for a switch is because they don't know it's going to be a ghost screen.
Sure.
It's not, I know a ghost screen is coming, but I'm going to switch anyway. The point of a ghost screen is because you're meant to think it's going to be a screen. Mm-hmm. If the offense actually premeditated it and said, Jamal, Austin Reaves is coming up here. He's actually going to slip it. So don't worry about switching. We're actually not setting the screen. Then, the defense will be fine. But that's why a ghost screen is a bluff. It's a disguise. It's not just, we know a ghost is coming. If that was the case, then, no one would switch. But that's not how it works.
It can be quite powerful.
That's just not how it works. The defense.
That's exactly here's how it works.
Disguise.
Okay, so educate me. Mars, please, if you don't mind, Mars.
Yeah.
So really quickly, I think you made a great point about disguising ghost screens. Yes, you did. You made a great point about that. But with that being said, this is why we watch film. Jamal Murray is going to ghost screen. Aaron Gordon doesn't screen that much. Player X doesn't screen that much. And I know that when I'm going up against him. So when I see him coming, more than likely I'm because I've watched film and because I've done my homework, this guy doesn't screen that much. If he tries to screen me, it's going to be a soft screen.
That's not true.
If it's going to be a soft screen, I can get by it. Now, if you're going to disguise a screen, I know for a fact that you're not going to screen me hard because I've done my homework on Jamal Murray.
They repeatedly ran split actions at the top of the key.
There's a bunch of plays where
for LeBron to dive off of the non-switch, and then you have 3 options with the Lakers. But chill. Just think about it. Like when you run a ghost screen, chill. You run a ghost screen as a response to the defense. The Lakers are hunting Jamal on LeBron because that's an advantageous matchup for LeBron. So the Nuggets then will do show and recover to then not get the switch. So the Lakers then counter the Nuggets counter by going to a slip screen / ghost screen. That way, when they try to do the show and recover to not force the LeBron switch, they then respond. That's how you respond. But then what happens is, chill, after they run the ghost screen twice, the Nuggets figure out what they're doing, and they run the coverage more correctly by sending a pre-rotate towards Austin Reaves from the baseline.
Way more complicated.
Chill, but that's just a chess match. Is you have one thing.
You're just meant to just go over the screen, Swiper. All of this is long. Just go over the screen.
Yes, because I watched
what
LeBron
I said
James
earlier. It's not complex. None about this is complex.
Wait, hold on, wait. But hold on, Ron. I'm asking you directly.
Screen navigation ain't a skill.
I'm asking you directly, Ron, because you're Ron. You play basketball. Help me understand. LeBron's a 42% three-point shooter at this point. Austin Reaves is a 40% three-point shooter at this point. If it's Aaron Gordon and it's Jamal Murray, and they set a screen, like Austin Reaves sets a screen on Aaron Gordon, and then LeBron runs the hump. Like, so LeBron's going to run the hump to extend the pick and roll as far as he can.
So we do have a screen. We don't have a ghost screen.
No, I'm saying, but remember, ghost screens are typically a response to defensive adjustments. So let's just stay with the first one. So if I run an initial screen and roll, Ron, let's just screen at the top of the key. If LeBron's extending the screen all the way out, so you're saying Aaron Gordon just needs to get around the screen, but I'm saying
just go over the screen. Yeah.
But Reaves is what's happening now is Jamal has to be here. Chill. I mean, to be fair, if LeBron's getting a screen by AG, Jamal has to stand here. I can't just go like this, and then it's a free look to the back.
Yeah, hedge the screen. Yes, he's supposed to hedge the screen. He's supposed to show.
But I'm saying, but LeBron's so good, and most point guards, Luka, are so good that if you hedge, well, I know how to force you to stay. And I'm saying the Nuggets didn't want to do that. So like, how would you? And again, you got an elite shooter that's setting the screen. So how do you counter that?
Well, I mean, the thing about it is,
Aaron
like,
Gordon
when you have
got to lock in and move his feet.
Go ahead, Chill. You got it.
I'm listening to you, Ron. Go ahead, because
I was just gonna say, like,
it sounds way more complicated than
we're definitely making it sound more complicated, but at the same time, like, a pick and roll, it's the reason why a pick and roll is a pick and roll. Like, earlier I said, teams spam it and it's bullshit that they run pick and roll a lot. But the main point of pick and roll is for guys like Luka, LeBron, even the big setting the screen like Jokic, is to get the switches. And pick and rolls do that very well. It's hard to not switch on a pick and roll. It's hard not to get the advantage. It's hard to fight through it. But at the same time, a lot of players or teams don't do it.
So because
they don't even attempt.
Ron, tell me how to break this. So if Austin Reaves is setting the screen, if he's setting the screen for LeBron here, and then LeBron's running the hump, like what is Jamal supposed to do right here? What would you have him do?
He's supposed to show until the defender gets back.
But Reaves is gone by that point.
Aaron Gordon is meant to ice the screen initially so that LeBron can't actually use the screen.
Okay,
so then you're sending him into the low man on the strong side.
But if you ice it, wait, hold on. But Mars, if you ice it, there's empty side pick and roll, and then now the low man is Jamal.
Swiper, this is a
when the time comes, Swiper.
Wait, now, Ron, this is what we should have been doing. Ron, this is what we should have been doing to start the show. This is basketball, Ron, and I know you remember this. Joe, I know you remember this. Pin, I love this part. This is basketball now. We ain't got to do narrative, Ron. Good job.
I love this.
Ron, do you remember the second round, 2023 chat, second round Mars versus Golden State? Remember the Lonnie Walker game? Lonnie Walker had Steph Curry on him, and Ron. Remember what they were doing? They were running an empty side, right side in front of the sideline, in front of the players. They're running an empty side pick and roll to get Steph switched on LeBron, and 3 straight times they got scores on that because obviously they're trying to hide Steph. So Steph would do the same thing with Jamal wants him to show, recover, or he would go underneath the screen in order to get it repositioned. That way LeBron couldn't get the switch. The problem is when Steph went underneath the screen, LeBron had a straight drive down the baseline with 2 men on the other side of the defender. And so what I'm saying is, Chill, eventually they conceded the LeBron screen. And Steph switched on LeBron. They got more stops out of Steph isolating LeBron defensively than they did when they were trying to get around the screen and trying to ice and do all this other stuff. So, Chill, I'm asking you, Chill, when you watched that game, the reason they won because Lonnie Walker had 15 points in the fourth quarter.
What you just did with me. This is what you just did with me, Swiper. You just had me in 8th grade arithmetic a second ago talking about ghost screens, and then we just got advanced to algebra and trigonometry. Ghost screens. You're going to act like you're going to screen. Am I correct? But you're not going to screen. How do we lead up to that? Who are we putting in ghost screen action? Who are we doing that with?
Normally
Because again,
a shooter.
What? One more time.
A shooter's normally the one setting the ghost screen.
Or Mars, or it can be the person who's the worst defender. Usually, you could
just bring up your
trying
defender.
to run that decoy. Exactly. Yeah.
So if the guy who's coming up, for example, Austin Reaves, if Austin Reaves is coming up to set a ghost screen, I am doing my homework, and I know that Austin Reaves is not going to actually set a screen. He's going to act like he's setting a screen. The guy who's actually over here, like Rudy Gobert or whomever the defender is, he knows that he's going to give me enough room to get around so I can chase Austin Reaves because he's not going to screen. All he's doing is running to the spot where he's going to be to shoot the basketball. That's what a ghost screen is for. Am I losing my mind here?
So what do you do when you do all that thinking and then he actually sets the screen?
Bingo.
Okay, I'm glad you brought
Then you
that
play
up,
the screen coverage.
But if you're already preparing for a ghost screen and then you get hit, you're not preparing for actual coverage, is my point.
I mean, the thing about it is
just
the ghost screen is deception.
Exactly.
It's a bluff. It's poker.
But you guys, if Austin Reaves is going to set the screen and I'm the guy defending Austin Reaves, I'm at Austin Reaves' hip no matter what.
He's going to get slowed down when he sets that screen, and I'm already prepared. Even if I'm prepared for the ghost screen, Mars, even if I'm prepared for him not to set the ghost screen, I'm also prepared for. I know how to play coverage when a guy screens. I know how to play. It's not like I'm completely.
But chill. To that point, though, we just watched Austin Reaves at the end of the game yesterday versus Jaden McDaniels, an elite defender, Rudy Gobert, an elite defender. They ran a pick and roll at the last possession of the game, and to the point, they tried to get Austin to run the hump. That's why Rudy was so wide. He wanted him to run the hump to waste time to shoot a three. Austin, being great in that moment, said, okay, I see that he's overplaying it. He stepped to his left, got Rudy to commit, and then stepped back to his right with a crossover, got straight downhill and hit a floater to end the game. But I'm saying that, like, at some level, chill, these players are just really damn good with the ball in their hand. So the issue is, even if you defend the screen well, I can still make you wrong. Chris Paul made a living out of that.
Okay, and I get that part, but I'm remembering, like you brought up the Golden State Warriors. I'm going back to the NBA Finals in 2018, where I'm actively watching them try to get KD on LeBron James, and he's conceding. They're not even setting the screen with Kevin Love. They're not even setting it, and Kevin Love is actively switching onto KD when he doesn't have to, even though James is covering him first. And they're actively trying to get KD onto Kevin Love.
That happens a lot. That happens a lot. You're right. That happens a lot. Guys concede the screen all the time. That happens a lot.
They don't have to.
But chill, it's almost better to concede. And this is why I think mathematically, you realize it's almost better to concede the screen and get a switch and force an isolation than it is for you to try to run the hump on an elite passer and then try to double or hedge, because now you get a short roll or you get a wide open corner three look. And again, this is three separate plays. This is three separate teams and three separate games I'm bringing up in the chat for saying that PC doesn't talk basketball. The Detroit Pistons versus the New York Knicks last year. Cade Cunningham would get a screen at the top of the key. And so what the Pistons did when they tried to hedge and trap Cade Cunningham, they would overload the left side of the floor with Tim Hardaway Jr. and Tobias Harris. Because what happens is now, when you load over on Cade Cunningham, they would have a short roll available, or Cade Cunningham would throw the ball, if you pre-rotate it, to the left wing. And so Tim Hardaway, with the game on the line, he gets a screen, they hedge, they trap, you cover the short roll with the pre-rotate, and now you got Tobias Harris sitting over in the corner, and you got Tim Hardaway Jr. He would throw the ball to Tim Hardaway Jr., who now gets it. Now it's 1-on-2. Tim would say, based on where the distance of the defender is, I'm going to pump fake, or if you're right here, I'm passing it to the corner, and it's a wide open three. They would murder teams last year like that, Ron. They would murder teams with that, and they did that every single game in the playoffs.
Yes, they did do that. But on the flip side to that, I'm still also watching, to your point, I'm watching Cat operate with Jalen Brunson. Right on the right wing. He's not even worried about the low man because he's not even going to come switch. He's coming over and just diving right to the basket and then immediately popping right back out. Waiting for the basketball. Meanwhile, Jalen Brunson is coming off that ghost screen and he's shooting the basketball. So if I'm doing my homework and I'm watching tape, I know for a fact Cat's not going to screen as much. So again, in defense, more times than not, I'm guessing, which is called anticipating. I'm guessing, but I'm also prepared to cover. I'm also prepared to cover a screen, but I'm also prepared to chase off a screen too. And when a guy like Cat, who when I'm watching him last season when he played for the Knicks, dives to the basket when I know he's not going to screen, that makes it a lot less difficult for me to get around screens. Way less difficult.
But Ron and Chill.
I'm sorry, y'all.
But you use shooters on
go
ghost screens for a reason, though. Like MPJ says, ghost screens. Like,
yeah, I'm sorry, Sniper. We got to move on because these are the new movements that players are getting injured from. So that's how we get down to the bottom of everything. But I do want to shout out all of our members. Craft Athletics became a new YouTube member today. Shout out to Craft Athletics. Sale Talks also joined up with a new membership. Bands. Shout out to Bands. We all love Bands. Bands became a new member. Andrew C. also joined up as a new member. Jalen Grisham also became a new YouTube member. Shout out to Jalen. CJ joined up as a YouTube member. Who else joined up? Who? All right. The next super chat that I got is from the Trib one. The Trib said, players aren't asking to sit out games. I don't think that's ever been the case. Today, front offices want their commodities to be ready for use when it matters the most.
That's true. It's a collective. Apparently, it's a collective decision, as players like to put it.
I agree with that too, as well. As much as I hate load management, as much as I hate players not playing through injuries or just hate injuries in general, I need you. If I'm paying you this, I need you to be here during the playoffs. And if I'm not paying you this, I need you to be here during the playoffs. If we got a high school team, I want my best player here when we get to state.
Yeah, but Ron, this is an important point actually, because I think the general public think that players just choose just to sit out. Like they're just actively making a decision to sit out. It doesn't work like that. There's a collective sort of meeting that happens where they go through the stats, they look at where the guy's redlining potentially in his output and say that, hey, we need to map out your schedule so you're missing this game and maybe in 2 weeks you miss another game. Like it's not black and white. Guys aren't just like taking games off because they want to. I think that's an important distinction that maybe the casual NBA fan doesn't realize. Sorry, I just had to say that.
Nah, you good. Hunter sent through a super chat and he said, if the 2020s offense is so whack, what the fuck does that make the 2000s? So right. I'm going to put it like this. Isolation ball in the 2000s was better than today. There were post-ups better than today. Teams ran sets more than today.
What makes post-ups better back then?
What do you mean what makes post-ups better? Because there was better post players.
Two of the three best post-up players we've had since 2000 are both playing today, by the way.
Okay, and there were more post-up players.
Is one of the best post-up players.
Okay, and then now give me 10 post-up players, jackass.
Oh, I got it. Jonas Valanciunas has been proficient in the last 6 years.
All right, come on. All right, man.
I'm gonna keep going. Sabonis is a good post-up player. That's another one.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
Good post-up. What do you mean? No, he's not. So,
no, he's not.
Ron,
he doesn't even post up.
You just asked me.
I watched the Kings.
To tell you. You just asked me to tell you. I'm
telling you. I literally watched the Kings play last night, and I've watched them a couple. I've watched them a couple times this season. Sabonis isn't even posting up anymore. Sabonis, as a matter of fact, Sabonis hasn't played in the post.
Wait, Pin.
He plays primarily out of the high post.
Just this last year. Here are the post-up players from last year. Jokic was in the post 5.8 possession to game. Embiid 4.6. They both shot over 1.10 points per possession in the post of last year. Zubac was in the post last year, 1.6 points per possession, 1.06. Alperen Şengün, 1.05. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 1.000. Kristaps Porzingis had been an elite post-up player. He was at 1.19 last year. Pascal Siakam.
Kristaps Porzingis has been an elite post.
Yes, Kristaps Porzingis has been one of the best scorers out of the post for the last 5 years. By the way, Ron, I said this before he went to the Celtics. They got a steal because he was one of the best scorers. Best scorers in the league in the post and in the paint with the Washington Wizards. And then they basically got an all-star level player for nothing. This is true.
We can acknowledge that the league posts up less. Like, we can acknowledge
he averaged almost 5 points a game on the box.
Sure.
But I don't know how you can just write people off for doing things well, though. Like, that's just crazy. I agree they don't post up the same, but like Kristaps is a very good post-up player.
That he can be. He still spends a majority of his time on the perimeter. setting screens, shooting threes,
And
whatever the
most of his
case may
post
be.
stuff is against mismatches. Like, yeah, okay, there's more post ups back in the day. We understand that. The reason is because most post ups
game's
aren't
different.
that efficient. Like we cool, but to Ron's point, yes, even mediocre bigs were posting up in 2002. You don't get Daniel Gafford post ups in 2025, but the Daniel Gafford equivalent in 2002 was definitely getting 2 or 3 post ups a game. Like I said, I go back and watch that OKC team with Kendrick Perkins on it. The first 3 possessions, one of them is going to a Kendrick Perkins post up. That's a team that had Russell Westbrook, James Harden coming off the bench, Kevin Durant, and one of their first 3 possessions would be a Kendrick Perkins post up. Now, if you think that's better, that's your decision. Like, you can, like what you like, but that's just a fact of the matter. We're not starting games in 2026 where one of the first possessions of the game is a Derek Lively post up.
Big Baby started off post up too with the Celtics.
So
That's right,
that's the difference. It's definitely different to Ron's point.
Yep.
If he prefers that, he prefers that. That's your decision. Like what you like. I'm not gonna tell you what brand of basketball you should prefer. Like, that's your business.
All right, y'all. The next super chat I got is from Willie Bobcat. Willie Bobcat said, as a Magic fan, I've accepted that Paolo is really a second best player on a great team, but he has a best player on a team skill set. I knew we should have taken Chet.
Welcome to the DeMar DeRozan experience.
I was strongly on the side of take Chet number 1. Very strong.
I said take Jabari
Agreed.
Smith number 1, and I wish I could pay someone to clean the internet.
this
of my
is
stupid
ridiculous.
ass takes.
I was strongly against Jabari number 1. Strongly against Jabari.
So we feel this strong about Paolo after 6 games?
No, Ron.
I've never been the
jumping the
highest on
gun.
Paolo.
We're jumping the gun.
You've been on the show with me
high
for
on
2 years, Ron. I've never been the highest on Paolo.
I'm not just talking about you. I'm talking about all the super chats, all the chats, and it's been multiple takes on here about Paolo. I'm like, so we're judging this first 6 games of this season more than we're judging the 6 games that he played against the Celtics in the playoffs last year.
I wasn't that high on
Boston
either. But
I'm not doing that.
What?
Nope. I'm not doing
But yeah,
that.
I think people are somewhat overreacting. Like, people who weren't already on this side of Paolo. Like, Penn's been notably lower on Paolo. I've been notably lower on Paolo. We're probably the 2 up on PC who are probably the lowest.
Yeah.
But like, people who are like, oh, Paolo top 20. Oh my god, how did you leave Paolo? Like, we did the top 15 under 25.
We left that Ox. Ox has been
because Ox is Franz over Paolo, but he's also Paolo over Wemby. So I don't know what he actually thinks.
Oh, never mind.
So but like, when we did the top 15 under 25, we had Paolo at 4, and there were people in the chat saying we had him too low. So like, those people probably shouldn't be switching him after 5 games. But like, if you already weren't the highest on Paolo, it makes sense for why you're still not very high on Paolo. None of the issues you have really changed. So it just depends on where you already stood. But if you were high on him 4 months ago, and now you're like, oh yeah, he's actually just not that good, I feel like you've probably done a bit too much of a 180 based on a 5 game sample.
He's going to go in a tear, and then all of a sudden people are going to start asking, is he a top 10 player? Is he a top 10 player?
That's absolutely what's going to happen. And then when I'm still on the same side of the fence that I'm on, unless he drastically changes his game, then I'm going to be called a hater. Whereas right now I'm being called right by a lot of people. So like, it's just ebbs and flows, man.
I'll tell you 2 people who are not going to be asking whether he's a top 10 player, and they're up on the stage right now. Never moved off of this. Always said Franz was the best player on that team.
Shout out to Franz, man. Free Franz.
Free Franz.
All right, we got another super chat from MTL22. MTL said it's coaching and conditioning that has been the main problems. Talking about for the Orlando Magic. Desmond Bane has been bad defensively and fouls too much. Same time, though, we aren't putting players in good positions to succeed offensively.
Sound like a coaching issue.
It's going to take time, like I said, with Orlando. It's going to take time.
Yep, it is.
Why do I like Jamal Mosley? Is it because he's a nice guy? Like, why do I like Jamal Mosley if he's so terrible?
I don't know. It's because he gets a lot of credit for how good Orlando's defense has been the last few years.
Whereas,
and it's because he's coaching a young team. And when a young team is having success, the coach normally gets uplifted. So
do you think he's a bad coach?
I stay away from talking about coaches in general because there's so much that goes into their jobs that I can't speak to. I don't know I don't even know who's responsible for Orlando's offense. It might not even be Jamal Mosley. But most people just, when they talk about coaches, it's rotations and subs. And I'm like, there's just so much more that goes into it that I just stay away from judging NBA coaches at this point. So that's why I haven't slandered Doc Rivers in a while. But
you should.
Yeah, I stay. Well, from what I've seen, the Bucks are playing good basketball right now.
That's a Giannis thing.
It could be a Doc thing.
Call it what you want to call it. But
when they lose two in a row,
I stay away from talking about.
When they lose,
hey, it could be a Darvin Ham thing.
Yeah, when they lose 2 in a row, that'll be a Doc Rivers thing.
But I want to shout out to Average Joe. Average Joe became a YouTube member and then sent through a super chat right after that. He said, "Y'all are too smart to use the underpaid logic. The top players on the team are underpaid. Yes, Gabe Vincent makes $11 million a year. That doesn't happen in a non-salary cap league."
What?
What does it make more or less in a non-salary cap league?
Correct. So
Yeah,
the person who is impacted the most by a non-salary cap league are the top stars. So if the NBA, if the owners could pay, let's just say it was like baseball, where there's, remove the restrictions, you can sign players to whatever, like the Shohei Ohtani deal. What does a player like Wemby get on his next contract? Let me give you a hint. It starts with $1 billion for like 5 years, 6 years. That is nothing close to what he's going to get right now. Okay. It actually, Damian, I'll take you one step further. I think it might be 1.5 billion. If he proves that he's healthy for the first 4 years, that rookie contract comes up, I'm signing him up for 8 years, 1.5 billion. And you know what? Whichever owner is going to swallow that, congratulations. You now get access to a $90 million. How many people France got? 90 million people. Plus he's big in Asia now because of his Asia tour. You're going to have like the most marketable athlete, one of the most marketable athletes in the world. Forget basketball, in the world. Look at what Shohei Ohtani's doing. Now look at what Wemby can do. It's very similar.
Just so you know, Ron, they made that money back. The contract that they signed Ohtani to, the $700 million, they made that money back this year.
Yep, 100%.
Nice.
They're not gonna make it back by winning the World Series. MP13
Who are they gonna lose to, Ron? Who are they gonna lose to? Was that the team that your Mariners were gonna pack up? Is that?
Hey man, we lost to the champions, which means if we would have beat them,
I love that.
we would have beat the Dodgers.
Oh god!
Hey,
I'm gonna start using that logic for KD. That's the logic.
We took the champions to 7, man. Hey, we gave them a run for their money.
You put some copium in your mimosa this morning. Shout outs to you, man. That's great.
You need some? I'll send some.
No, I still need that Advil. I'm still waiting on that Advil you put me through. You're screaming that for an hour.
I'll send them both up your way after this show. MP13 said, "Is there a way for West Coast games to start earlier? East Coast people have to stay up past midnight to watch the best teams. They are all in the West. Warriors versus Clippers at 11 p.m. is terrible." You guys remember NBC started doing their little West Coast thing where they start games at, I think, 8 p.m. Eastern time, which means that they start at 8:15, which means, or what, Pacific time, 8:15, which means that starts at 11:15 Eastern time. With that being said,
it's 6:30 yesterday.
First of all, this is soft.
Why should West Coast players have to play earlier?
But hold on, right quick, Pin, right quick. I'm just because I'm giving people a background of what it is. That only happens on NBC, and I think it's only on Tuesdays. So you got like, this isn't an everyday thing. This isn't when Amazon Prime does their games. Yeah. So Coast to Coast Tuesdays, when ESPN does their games, when Amazon does their games, when Peacock do their games, it's not going to be 8:30 Eastern time games or 11:30 Eastern time games. So you guys won't have to stay up past midnight to watch games.
But what games are starting at 11:30?
Well, the Warriors Clippers game started.
The Warriors Clippers game the other night started around.
It was at 11 o'clock. So I was up till 1:30.
Well, chill. 11:15 is when it
the game was over
started.
at half. The game was over in the third quarter, so you didn't have to stay up the whole.
Chill, you remember
number one and number two. If you don't like, honestly, this soft ass generation, people in Serbia had to wake up at like 3 a.m., 4 a.m. to watch these games. Okay, and shout outs to my country, we did. Okay, so there's a lot of people in Europe. People where Damien is. Damien, what time is it where you're at right now?
Aren't the NBA games on in the morning?
In the morning.
Yeah, the NBA games on
like in the morning or in the afternoon.
It ain't 4:41 in the morning. It's 4:41 in the afternoon.
Is it afternoon?
In the morning.
No,
No,
it's the morning.
AM.
AM. This is 4:41.
I took Swiper's advice and I slept. I tried to sleep before this at 9 p.m. But actually, I think I'm more tired when I woke up. So I don't know. I don't know.
Was it Quan 103 who sent the super chat? Was that it?
No, it was MP13, I think.
Okay, so whoever sent it, you're soft as hell. First of all, and if you don't want to stay up until 1 a.m.
Just because other people have to stay up later doesn't mean he's soft for not wanting to stay up.
Yeah, you're soft as hell. If you don't want to,
No, that's not what that
What are we
means.
complaining about? The fans.
He's complaining about having to stay up till
people
1
in
a.m.
LA
That's what he's
have to
complaining about.
work until 5:30, 5 o'clock. Then they go home. Then they get ready for the game. Then they go to the game at 7 o'clock. Their 7 o'clock is your 10 o'clock. What's so hard to understand? I should inconvenience everyone who got to watch the game.
Agree
so
with.
your dumb
Yeah,
ass
that
can
I
go
agree
to
with.
go watch
Why
the
are they
game like an
dumb?
hour early.
The East Coast.
No, man, it's
the East
crazy.
Coast-
Yeah, I don't agree with the dumb part, but that's the part I agree. They can't just make the games
I've been
By
on
the
the
way,
East Coast. I've been on the East Coast for most of my life. I'm gonna say this.
Just so we know
East
why
Coast
everything
people are,
operates
like,
on Eastern
so
Standard
spoiled.
Time, it's because all of the money in the markets are made on the East Coast in the United States. So that's why the
And
markets.
please
are
don't
set.
leave out the
The
fact
markets
that
are
But that
so
doesn't
much
change
majority
that
of the
people on the West Coast
No,
have jobs.
I'm not against
Stock
you.
market opens
But
when?
I also would like to say, if you had the ability to, which it's a privilege to be able to sleep a little bit, and then you don't have to work early in the morning, then obviously that's the benefit. But chill. I don't know if you remember this. Remember Alabama versus Clemson, the national championship game when Deshaun Watson threw the game-winning pass. That game didn't end until 1:30 a.m. East
That's
Coast.
correct.
So like, I don't. The Dodgers game 2 nights ago, game 3, it was 2:51 p.m.
Well, they played 2 games. They played 2 games.
2 full games. Yeah,
That's-
2 full
that's
games.
wise.
Yeah, it's just you can't do that all the time.
And to your
But
point,
And
I mean,
nothing ever starts on time as well, by the way.
nothing.
Yeah,
By the
now
way,
they have the little
by the
caveat
way,
on League Pass now. It
like
says
7 o'clock
game
is
time
like
10 minutes
7:15.
after.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
But like they've
Anyway.
tried to add that now. But like,
Give me a break.
if you don't want to stay up, don't stay up. But at the end of the day, like they're not going to move the West Coast games earlier when people have jobs on the West Coast, which means they exist on West Coast time. If their job ends at 5, you asking them to move the games to 5 means the arenas are going to be empty. Or they're going to be filled with the unemployed, which I have no problem with. But then how are they going to afford the courtside tickets if they have no jobs?
Right.
Like, it doesn't make sense logistically to benefit you. If you can't stay up for the West Coast games, watch East Coast teams. Watch the West Coast teams when they're playing on the road in the East. But you, like, I understand it's inconvenient for you, but you're not obligated to watch. Like, you're just not.
I hate to be old man screams at a cloud here, but I am a kid who was like, came up in the 90s. You know how hard it was to find NBA games in the 90s? Then you had to, if you had to miss the game for some reason, because you were in school, shut up, Swiper. I don't even see you, and I know it's you snoring. Okay. And I don't care. Like, if you had to watch a game, and Lord help you, you had a doctor's appointment or a school, and you had to miss that game, you had to find VHS tapes to record that damn game. And you don't even know those things are going to conk out at some point and not going to record your shit. Now you got DVR. You're soft as hell, man. You press one button, it records your shit. If I had to miss the Raptors game last night, I could have just hit one button on my TV and that shit would have recorded in 4K. That is crazy to me. Do you know how expensive it was? I know the chat is not vibing with me right now. I don't even give a shit. Snore all you want. You know how expensive it was to buy a big screen TV back in the 90s? It used to cost you like what it costs you to get a down payment today. Like my aunt bought a big screen projection TV, like 65 inches, and then she had it in her house. I thought she was the richest person in the world. Now I can get a 65-inch TV for like $300. Fucking crazy, man. Crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, Penn, I agree with you. Hey, the NBA players are soft. The coaches are soft. The owners are soft. The referees are soft. The game is soft. The viewers are soft. The chat's soft. You know who's not soft? The only people that are soft is everybody that has entered our Halloween tiers on Splash Sports. Now, these people aren't soft. Why? Because this game is very spooky. It's very, very scary. And why is that the case? Well, quite simply because it's going to take a lot to win this. You got to do some scary things and you got to go through some spooky agendas to potentially get there. You, first off, got to pick 6 players in 6 different tiers, and you got to do it better than the other demons that the other person on the other end of the game is going to pick. However, if you can pick the best players in this NBA Halloween tiers contest on Splash Sports, you will get $5,000. So here's what you guys need to do, because tomorrow is the last day to join. You have till 4 p.m. to join this. Scan this QR code or click the link in the bio, join the contest, and from there, you will have the opportunity to win $5,000. We will see you guys in the winner's circle. Also, too, I do want to give somebody my splash of the day. My splash of the day will not be going to Scotty Barnes, even though he did have an RA game yesterday. My splash of the day will not be going to the Chicago Bulls, even though they played all right yesterday.
Austin Reaves.
My splash of the day, huh?
Is it Austin Reaves? Because it should be.
My splash of the day, yes, Penn, it will be going to Austin Reaves because you follow up a 51-point game with a 41-point game, and then you follow that up, and you have 28 points, but not just 28 points. You come with 16 assists too. You see, the 16 assists is heavily why he's getting the splash of the day. But what was even more impressive is that you drop Rudy Gobert off at the bucket with a nice floater and hit a game winner. You know what? Maybe the Lakers should call Nico Harrison and ask him what he had to do to get over Luka Doncic. Because I don't think the Lakers need him no more. They got their great white hope in Austin Reaves. So maybe they should call around and see what they could get back for Luka Doncic as well.
Luka averaging 41, by the way.
Settle down.
Just for
Settle down.
context.
Hey, chill.
Luka averaging
Yeah,
41.
16 assists.
Do you think the Lakers
have
would trade
16
Austin
assists?
Reaves for Anthony Davis straight up right now?
Yes, they would do that.
I don't know. But all right, y'all, we got more super chats to get to, so let's go ahead and make it happen. Cage Black said, fellas, can we talk about the Bulls being 4-0?
Beautiful basketball. Love Montes Buzelis. Love what Josh Giddey doing with that offense. Love how Nikola Vucevic is playing. That team is so fun to watch, and they don't even have Kobe White yet. They don't even have
They're
Kobe
making the
White
playoffs.
yet.
They're gonna make the playoffs, by the way.
Defense. That's what's been.
I mean, I've been fooled by false starts before by teams, but whatever. But yeah, man, the Spurs and the Bulls are two teams that a lot of people had making the play-in that are lossless right now.
All I know, Ron, is I ain't introducing her to my friends yet, but we are going out on the second date. Yes, we are.
We'll let
Vucevic
Josh
is
Giddey
hooping
know.
too. I want to give Vucevic a lot of credit.
I
Vucevic
ain't
is
introducing her to the
amazing
fellas
football.
yet. No, I ain't going that far, but yeah, I am.
Yeah, you're right, Chill.
Patrick
The Bulls
Williams.
front office gonna flick. They're gonna flip
He's doing some
Vucevic at the
Patrick
trade
Williams,
deadline.
Patrick Williams redemption arc. I would assume he's been great. Vucevic has been
Yes.
great. Trey Jones is the
Been
better
really
brother.
good.
Clearly, Mattas has been really good. Josh Giddey has been really good. Just pushing pace for them, getting everyone involved. Still a good rebound, all of that
the
stuff.
kid name with the glasses. They used to play for Indiana. I really
Jalen Smith.
Jalen Smith.
yes, I like him. Really good finisher.
player.
Him too. He looks really good.
Wow,
Yeah, the
Mars.
Bulls, like everyone really contributing for the Bulls right now.
Vooch is anchoring another top 3 defense.
Okay, buddy.
Shout out
But
Big
yeah,
Coach.
after because Vooch had that stinky 2024 year, but like this last year and then to start this year, he's been really, really good. So I want to give
He's
Vucevic
talented,
a lot of
man.
credit. He's playing like his all-star form in Orlando. I would argue maybe he's even playing better. He's been really, really good. So shout out to Vucevic.
All right, fellas, the Bulls have a limit. We can only speak on a franchise like that for about 3 minutes, and then we have to
For an
move on.
undefeated
But
team for 3 minutes. Okay.
Shout out to the Chicago Bulls. DSG Piccolo said Nico gonna need extra security, and Joe Dumars set the Pelicans back years with his dumbass trades.
Unprotected for Eric Queen is crazy, bro. Think about it. They also traded the Pacers pick. They could have in one draft pin picked up.
They could have got
top
AJ
three.
and Darren Peters.
Think about it.
That's a good point.
Because the Pacers haven't won yet, have they?
No, undefeated.
And the
or
Pels
defeated.
haven't won. Yeah, the Pels under. So if they had both those picks still,
So the Pacers
they'd
going to
be on
get
track.
both.
Well, the
Pels-
Hawks get New Orleans.
Atlanta's
pick,
got
and
one.
Pacers
Sorry,
get their own pick.
Pacers. Okay, damn.
Yeah.
Atlanta's
But
got
New
one of them.
Orleans had both those picks 4 months ago. So
And
Joe
then Joe
Dumars-
Dumars was like,
Joe Dumars was like, remember where I left off with the Pistons when they fired me? I'm picking right back up. It's the
it didn't take a
same
genius
bullshit,
to
bro.
figure out the Pels weren't going to be good. It did not take. a
Yo,
genius
shout
to
outs,
figure out
man.
that.
What that did to one of my favorite franchises, respectfully, I loved what the Pistons were doing in the mid 2000s. What that dude did, signing Charlie Villanueva and Ben Gordon and wrecking the shit out of that franchise and getting by on it year after year because he allegedly built a championship team because he
did.
drafted freaking Darko Milicic, which was just.
yeah, we had an argument about this. He never should have went over Melo, and you were staunchly against that. By the way, the
Well,
Nuggets
by
went
the
on
way,
a-
you know
the
someone who
Nuggets went on
agrees
a
with me and
29-2
disagrees
run
with
and
you.
started the third quarter yesterday. by the way.
You want to know someone who said that they would
Hey,
not win?
Hey,
a championship? Ben Wallace.
Yapper of the years. I have to get through this next super chat from MP13. MP said, I listed a complaint from the perspective of an East Coast viewer, where most of the NBA viewers are. Now the chat has to listen to Penn yap about how I'm soft for trying to improve the experience for the majority. My bad, chat.
It's
Not
just not
only-
feasible to improve the experience for the majority. I don't think you're soft. So I just don't think it logistically makes sense.
Most of the people live on the East Coast.
I
They
still
live
think
in
you're
Maryland.
soft
Just so
I
we
don't know
clear.
you
because you can
personally, so-
DVR it. Like your problem is solved.
Why would I DVR a live basketball game? I think those people are.
You don't DVR Nuggets games. You
No,
don't DVR
never.
any games that you
Never.
miss.
I don't think
Ever?
Swipe and misses Nuggets game.
Never. No, I mean, yeah, it's my job, so I can't really just miss work, unlike Penn. Next super chat.
We got a new member by the name of Sasko Nikolovsky. Sasko Nikolovsky. Thank you for joining up. I appreciate you. 989 Michi also became a YouTube member, and Nino joined up as a YouTube member too. If you're not a member yet, go ahead and make that happen. JDC sent through a super chat and said Atlanta will get 2 top 10 picks. Damn.
Yeah, that's gonna be crazy.
What,
Move on for
wait, what's the other one?
They have they got the Pelicans pick in their pick. I think he said.
The Spurs have their pick, no?
Let me see.
The Spurs have Atlanta's pick.
Atlanta Hawks draft.
Swiper, you might actually know this. Not to drag an old comment here, but where do the majority of NBA fans actually live? Like, what is the state with the most NBA fans?
Oh well, that's gonna be New York,
Probably
California,
the biggest.
and Texas.
Yeah,
It's
probably the
California.
It's gonna
biggest
be,
state.
it's gonna be the most
And
populated
Texas.
state.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Texas.
So not East Coast.
Well, no, Texas.
Get 'em,
Texas
Ken.
is a football state. So,
But the majority. Okay, sure.
but yeah, by
M-
population, still, yeah.
MTHJ301 said Bulls love ? First in the division, beat 3 teams you guys ranked higher than them, and 2-point guards. Penn hates are averaging 8+ assists. Keontae George
Yes,
and
sir.
Davion.
Are we ready to
Keontae,
talk
yeah,
about
Keontae-
Keontae George, good sir?
He's still,
Mark,
I still
I
don't
like
see
it.
Speak
All-Star.
up.
I like it.
But no. Okay, first of all, I would never hated Keontae.
I
see
don't
All-Star.
believe that.
I just don't see. I just don't see.
I talked
All-Star.
a lot of shit about him. I apologize.
But yeah, Keontae
Sorry,
started the
Keontae.
season well. Lowry started the season well. Walker Kessler has started the season amazingly. Anyone else who I want to?
There isn't a bad Baylor athlete in the NBA. Jarrett Butler's getting cooked now. Talk about it, Ron. There's not a bad Baylor athlete in the sport right now.
What is Davion Mitchell shooting from 3 right now? Swiper.
I don't
Davion?
know, but he's still. I mean, regardless
Yeah,
of what he's
Davion
shooting
Mitchell,
from three, he's
what-
been
what-
good.
Well, I don't know. I don't know the exact percentage.
He's
Okay,
been
cool.
good for the Heat.
Why? What's that
he's
matter?
He's currently
All
shooting
right.
23%.
Is he worth $12 million?
Best, yeah, absolutely. Best guard on his team right now.
Davion has been really good for the Heat.
Yeah, best
I
guard
like
on his
Davion.
team right now. Now,
3-point
Tyler Hero, you
percentage
better
alone,
show
he's
some
been really good for the
respect.
Heat. He's been really, really.
And
good.
then on top of that, VJ Edgecombe is
He's
the
been
rookie
better
of the year.
he's been better than Norman Powell.
Yes.
Get out of here.
I don't agree with that statement.
Yeah,
but
you do. With him,
Not-
you don't agree with him, right? But you agree with me. Yeah, I
but
No,
Davion
he's
Davion
not
has been
crazy.
Davion has been really good for the Heat. Like regardless of what he's shooting from 3, he's been.
The Heat have been good in general, so it's like
Yes,
Yeah,
that helps.
And then y'all got Jordan wearing false propaganda, wearing Baylor stuff. He didn't even touch the campus. Never even been there. Never even seen the campus. Goodness gracious.
Scav sent through a super chat and said, I don't know him personally, but in my opinion, AD probably feels he has to play through these injuries because the Mavs traded their generational player for him.
Yep.
And you can't be wrong about me. There's a reason why you traded for me. You got to be right.
I'd hope that's not AD's mindset.
Well, of course, all players care about. A lot of players care about that. They want to make sure the fans get what they need as well.
See, Mars, you don't really care about a lot of stuff, but when you're making a lot of money and people are consistently talking about you, like they talk about Anthony Davis, and on top of that, you got traded for the 25-year-old franchise player, you have to, on some level, feel like, yo, they weren't wrong about me.
No, I
But
don't.
again,
But yeah, I'm not in that
Yeah,
position, so
exactly.
it's easy to say when
Yeah.
I'm not making 50 million. But
Mhm.
I'd like to think I'm fairly confident that that check gonna look the same regardless if Dallas fans like me or not. So
yeah.
Rod, I don't know if he likes you, Mars. He said, don't be scared of it. The Bulls are here, and there's nothing that you can do about it. Trey Jones is elite. Bulls in 6. Mars, apologize to Giddey now.
what am I apologizing to Giddey for?
You know. Come on,
One
let's
thing
hear
has
it.
Nothing to do with
I
the other.
don't know.
Okay, my
Yeah.
bad, Josh Giddey. I don't know what I'm apologizing for, but my bad. Whoops.
I don't know neither, to be honest with you.
Thank you.
Well, I can apologize.
We got it. We got it, Rod. All right,
Yeah.
Hunter sent through another super chat and said Joe Dumars might be the dumbest man in NBA history. What the F was he thinking trading that pick.
If Derek
these
Queen turn
old heads-
into an MVP, he's gonna look like a genius.
See, this is the problem
Facts,
with old heads,
facts.
right? I remember Jack McCloskey, who was the original architect of the Bad Boy Pistons. And he took over for the Toronto Raptors in 2004, and he decided to draft Rafael Arujo because he reminded him of Bill Laimbeer. These old heads are nuts, yo. There's, you know what I mean?
How
Like,
old do you have to be an old head?
he
by the
was
way?
100, bro. I think he looked 100. He might have been like 70.
So he didn't remind you of Bill Laimbeer?
No.
Okay.
And the 2005 NBA is nothing like the 1980s NBA. Like, what are we doing?
And shout out Bill Laimbeer, man. I wish we could get somebody like him on my team. Red Hood said Paulo Filori straight up. Magic become true championship contenders immediately.
I don't
Y'all agree?
agree. They need to change up schematically. They need to change structurally. It's not just take out
Austin Reeves
Conley
for
and then
Desmond
start-
Bain or Austin Reeves for Jalen Suggs helps both sides out. Austin Reeves for Jalen Suggs. I think that's a great idea. They should make that trade happen.
That would never happen because Jalen Suggs has been injury prone. And I think Austin Reeves is
Are
going
they
to
going to pay Austin Reeves $50 million?
Austin Reeves is
going
going to get paid. Yeah, Austin Reeves is going to get paid, man.
50
You're gonna
million.
get paid. You're gonna get paid somewhere.
He's
Austin
not
Reeves
even
gonna get
playing like a
eligible
max.
he's not
There's going to
eligible
be a
to be
team
paid
that
50
there's going to
million.
be a
Let
team
me
that
check.
invests.
No, he's
Wherever
not
he's
eligible
eligible,
to
there's
be
going to be
paid
a
50
team that
million.
invests. There's going to be a
He's
team.
Yeah,
that
definitely,
invests.
definitely.
He's
He is
eligible
eligible
to be paid
for he declined
40.
a 4-year, $89 million deal.
Yes, he
He's betting
should've.
on himself. Widely expected to get over $30 million.
Yes,
Let's
not
see.
50 million. 30 million is fair.
No,
Do you know how much-
over. I'm trying
Okay,
to
now
figure out
Google
what
how
it's-
much Jalen Suggs makes.
I know how much he makes. He makes 35.
Okay, so what is the point? Are they going to pay Austin Reeves? No, let's trade Austin Reeves for the guy who makes exactly how much we're not willing to pay Austin Reeves.
Jalen
Or a
Suggs is a
worse
better
player.
What are you saying?
Jalen Suggs is a worse
Austin
player
Reeves
than
is
Austin Reeves.
Austin. Yes.
I think we can all objectively agree with that. So you said,
Yes.
Art Swiper, why are you confused? Like, are we in the twilight zone right now? Pay attention.
confused what's
You
going
said the Lakers don't need to move, will move off of Austin Reeves because they don't want to pay Austin Reeves. Right?
No, they want to pay him. They just don't like him at 50 million. No.
He's not eligible for 50 million.
40, 45? Which number you want?
Do you?
I know what you're talking about. I know what you're
He
talking
might
about.
make All NBA this year. How you know he's not eligible for 50 million?
Yeah, right.
Please.
So then
Austin Reeves not making All NBA.
So the way
All
he's
right,
hooping right now,
Third option
Ron,
when they're
28
healthy.
points and 16
the way he's
assists
hooping
last night,
right
by the
now,
way,
he
Ron.
might not make All
Magic
NBA.
rolls out logic.
I
Come
think
on.
we all
Rolls
can
out
agree that
logic.
Austin Reeves is
He might
on
be an
his way
all-star,
to
that's all.
potentially a max
But it
contract.
fucking makes sense.
I think
Yes,
If
what
the
is
season
his
ended
max?
right now, he'd be on
His
All
max
NBA
is
second team. What
barely
are we talking
more
about?
than Jalen Suggs. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Might be first team while we bullshit.
Well, nah, because I'm still putting Luka on. Luka played 2 games. That's enough for me. But
Chill with how he's playing right
He's
now.
definitely
gonna be
getting
first
paid
team.
though. Like, let's be real.
But yeah,
Like,
the
it's
way
gonna
he-
be
Yeah,
close
he's
to the
going to be
max.
paid 35 to
this
37
man
million. I
averaging
don't-
Kobe Bryant scoring numbers and like Chris
It's gonna be
Paul
close to the
assist
max.
numbers.
Some team's gonna give him
Like,
close
come
to
on,
the
man, what are we
max.
talking
Ah,
about?
look at Penn. Look at Penn.
Look
That's
at this
crazy,
guy, Austin
bro.
Reeves, man.
Yeah,
What's he
I'm going
averaging?
to
He
check what
averaging
is Austin
34 and
Reeves
10.
eligible to make.
All right, so we're gonna look at
He
Chill
giving you-
now because
Kobe
Void
scoring
Century sent through a
physical
super
payment.
chat and he said, Chill, you ever think just because the medicine got better, does it mean it's developed enough to keep up with the toll the game puts on the body today?
No, I never thought that. And the reason why I never thought that is because guys are recovering faster than they were back then. Guys are stronger today, which the medicine has contributed to that. So, no, I never thought that.
The Trib one.
41, by
Say-
the way. He's eligible for 41.
The Trib one said, I want to see more two-man game with Cam Thomas and Michael Porter Jr. I want Michael Porter Jr. to be used like Dirk and add in DHOs. Claxton looks good too.
The Nets are a tough watch, man.
You don't want that.
Also,
trust me.
hopefully Trey Young's not out for long.
Hopefully.
Trey Young's not out for long.
They think it's
But
just a
yeah,
sprain. They don't think it's any structural damage.
Sprain knee, that's probably a 2 to 4 weeks, depending on severity.
Probably a month.
Yeah, but they're already in a hole right now. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's kind of tough in Brooklyn. I just don't like the team. But I already know they're trying to lose, so it's like I'm not bothered that they're losing. But they're a tough watch. They just stink.
Mhm.
So
MPJ is
I
off
don't
to like a really insane start in terms of his jump shooting efficiency. He's one of the hottest jump shooters in the league right now.
He had 30
Some of the
Dude,
best shooters
this
in the
isn't-
league. Like,
Yeah,
I
Pin,
mean,
this
it's
isn't
not-
anything new. Have you
It's
not
not.
been paying
He's
attention?
not really on a hot streak. He's more so just one of the best shooters the league has ever seen.
He's
Yeah,
made
people were
over-
just saying that Jokic was the reason why he could shoot the ball, and they didn't realize that he can shoot
It
without Jokic.
turns out he's actually just 6'10" and can shoot over anyone, regardless of contest, and he's just that good at shooting.
He's
Besides
made
the
over
free throw line.
62% of his jump shots this year. I believe, if I read a stat correctly yesterday, 62% is insane. That is not what he was doing in Denver.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. But he's still one of the best shooters in the league. Period. Like regardless.
Hey, you see his off minutes without Jokic?
Yeah,
Huh?
they're all negative losing because the team sucks, obviously. But MPJ's playing well. I hope he keeps it up. He deserves another contract. I hope. Well, yeah.
War V Room said, chill. You are just being dumb. Plain and simple. Teams are trying to prevent broken bones and torn tendons. That's the whole effing point, man.
Maybe I'm just dumb then. No, I'm not trying to be dumb. Maybe I just am dumb. How about that? Maybe I'm
I
just not
disagree
that
with you.
smart. Yeah, maybe I'm just not that smart.
Yeah,
How about that?
intelligence is overrated anyway.
Yeah, I'm
Nope.
just dumb. Mm-hmm.
It is.
I got it.
Yo, that's a nasty little
Not that
fella
smart.
over there. I'm telling
I'm
you.
just dumb. You got it.
All right. Average Joe said reducing games will definitely reduce salaries. Players get 51% of the basketball generated revenue. Less games, less revenues. Not that complicated.
So
No.
owners-
That's not what we was debating, by the way. So just want to put it out there. But yes, they would factually make less in like the next CBA and whatever the case. But that's not what we was debating. So just to clarify.
Cool Joe said, I just wanted to say intentional walking needs to be removed from baseball, especially in playoff time, in my opinion. That shit takes away from the game. Shaking my head.
Why? Why does it take away?
Is that when they just don't? Is that when they don't pitch to Otani?
Yeah, they're like, oh yeah, we're
Same
not.
thing.
That just sounds logical to me. I don't know what to tell you.
It's
it's
like
the
it's like
same-
a hack a shack, if you will.
Yeah, it
Yes,
just sounds
it's the
logical.
same
Hey,
thing
if
like-
this guy's gonna hit a home run, let's just not.
Yes,
pitch him.
that's exactly what it is.
But also too, similar to the hack a shack, it gives the offensive team an advantage. Otani is fast. If Otani gets on base and somebody hits a double, it's a chance Otani can score. If somebody hits a single, it's a chance Otani can get on third. If somebody walks or gets another hit, he advances in the scoring position. Same thing with it's not as advantageous if you foul Giannis or Shaq, but you still have an opportunity to score 2 points, one at the least.
Yeah, but you're in the bonus earlier,
So it's
though.
like,
You know what is
They get-
really
Oh, yeah,
advantageous?
And you put people in foul trap.
50 steals, 50 stolen bases. That's what Otani did. 50 stolen bases. So the fact that this guy can just get on base, like him just getting onto first or onto second, will help you tremendously because it puts a lot of pressure on the pitcher. I think psychologically the pitcher is always thinking like, is he going to steal the base? Is he going to steal the base? So I think that adds an extra dimension to him just being in the game and not striking out.
I know.
Shout outs to
Everyone just
baseball, man.
cheer on
I
it.
love it. I love it, man. I've been loving this. This past week has been glorious. Watching this sport for the first time with intention. It's been great.
shout out baseball. It's fire. The next one I got is from Red Hood. Red Hood said, yes, AD. You bum said he was the best power forward. How's that nonsense looking? Now he's just a Rudy Gobert of superstars.
AD hasn't been the best power forward in the league since like 2018, 2019-ish, like that era. I don't even think AD is a power forward. He's just a center in denial. That's what I've been calling him for like.
He played the
Yeah.
5 in college. And he was awesome at it.
He's a center in denial. That's kind of what he is.
Yeah,
but
he's
shout out
never
to Anthony
accepted
Davis.
wanting to play center.
I don't know,
It's
Mars.
weird.
Which I can empathize with, like, because like obviously like the physical toll it takes, blah blah blah. He's had to put on weight, but at this point, when I say he's a center in denial, it's not because I just think he's more effective at the 5. Like,
Agree.
and I'm pretty sure he knows that. He just doesn't want to play there full time, which I can understand. Like, that's fine, but he is a center. Like, I think everyone can acknowledge he's a center.
All right, well, AD just sent through a super chat. AD said, what happens when a Ferrari going 100 miles per hour slams on the brakes or a Hummer going 100 approaches a traffic jam?
Bingo.
This is a trick
That's
question.
exactly it. No, this is talking about the athletic conversation that we were having about how much more pressure it puts on the body to have to stop, change direction, stop. So that's why I kept saying only 10% of that pie is actually the number of miles you're actually traveling. It's the complexity of those miles right? It's just like a car. And I think the car is a great example, right? If you did, like, for instance, the Ferrari example, if your Ferrari has 100,000 miles on it, it matters a lot where those miles were traversed. Were they city roads? Were they country roads? Was it mountain terrain? It matters a lot because your car obviously went through wear and tear depending on where you drove. That's the point.
All right. Medved Ted said 70s, 80s, even 90s, you didn't have prima donnas like Ladiva, or you didn't have prima donna Ladivas like today who think they are above the team. That's the difference. Y'all know who these Ladivas
Sure
are?
you did. Sure
Yes,
you did. Yes, you did.
100% did.
But who's the Ladivas?
Derek, how about Dennis
What is
Rodman
a
getting
Ladiva?
thrown out of games? We trying to win. He getting thrown out of games. Yes, he was absolutely doing that. We had guys that thought that they were bigger than the game. Yes, 100% we had that.
I don't like when we rewrite the past to discredit the present. Oh, people were so much better back in my day. Mr. Ron up here with McDonald's was healthy in the 90s, bro.
No, it
In
was not.
1950, in
Healthy.
1950,
He never said healthy.
1950,
Damn, why do you two do that? You and you.
Do what? Do what?
in
I didn't do anything.
1950, they were cooking fries in beef tallow, bro.
Ron, when you're wrong, you will not let anyone else speak, and you'll run through.
Was I wrong about that? Did I say that?
I don't even know what you're talking about. I was talking to JD about something else separate. I don't even know what you're dealing with right now. So
Tell you
don't
what,
include
Ron.
me in this. I
Tell
don't know
you
what you're talking
Ron.
about.
You couldn't get salad at McDonald's in 1990. Tell you that.
If you go to McDonald's and get a salad, I have harsh words for you. Respect.
Yo,
Hey, I know people who
Is
used to
that a
get
good
salads from
example for the
McDonald's.
kids?
Not on
If
now.
you go
It's not
to
on.
if you go to McDonald's and get a salad, like
Or
I've seen it done before,
Diet
Mars.
Coke. Okay.
who you fooling? Like you don't go to McDonald's to try and be healthy. Like that's
No,
not what
you don't. You do not.
Like,
No. Eating a value meal, a double quarter pounder with cheese, and a Diet Coke. Get the fuck out of here.
if you go into McDonald's, you're intentionally trying to be
Hey,
unhealthy.
bro, chill. I
Like,
know somebody that's a very good person. She's been addicted to Diet Coke for 10 plus years. She has like 3 to 4 or 5 of them a day.
I know we got to move on, Ron. We got to go.
Zero cows. That's why.
That's crazy.
Whatever they put in crack, that's what they put in that. Whatever they put in crack, that's what they put in that shit.
Ron,
well,
that's
factually,
if-
they did.
if you're addicted to-
factually, they did. That's what they did.
If you're
Ron,
addicted
Ron,
to
is that
crack
true?
right now,
Every day.
yeah, and I'm about to.
Pookie, is that true?
Yes, that is true. And so if you are addicted to crack, it's not going to give you as much problems as crack will. So just stop doing crack and start doing that.
Yo,
Bro,
Uncle
what's the
Dad with
most-
$100 super chat saying,
Yeah, we
great
gotta
show
acknowledge
as
Uncle Dad,
always,
yeah.
Yeah, I
fellas.
appreciate that.
Yo, like, shout outs to Uncle Dad, man. We
Is that the
got-
Toronto guy?
Yeah,
Appreciate
All
it.
right,
They got
hey,
hundreds.
They
They got
that's the
hundreds.
first time he's given 100.
That's
You're
what we
welcome.
need to really do.
You're welcome.
Maybe we need to
You're
get
welcome.
some sleep. It's
Appreciate
5
that.
o'clock.
Thank you,
Ain't no
Uncle
sweat.
Dad.
Yeah.
And you know what?
Yeah, get
You're not going to say this because I know you can't do this because obviously you came over here because of Penn, but he's no longer your favorite anymore. I appreciate you being here and showing up for us every day and having to endure Penn, covering your team. So shout out to you. Shout out to everybody else in here, man. Penn, I thank you for bringing him in, but I will take him off your hands. Thank you so much, Uncle Dad. I look forward to seeing you soon. DM me, brother.
Yeah,
Shout out
Uncle
everyone who
Uncle
has
Dad,
an
if you
Uncle
get out
Dad,
of pocket,
yeah,
I'm
shout
still
out
gonna
to
tell you you're an
everyone.
asshole. I'm not gonna, you're not moving me with your money, but I appreciate you coming over here. I'm not sucking up to you for money like Swiper does.
Yeah,
I
I thought they was broke in Toronto. He proved me
Swiper be
wrong.
twerking for like $20 bills, bro.
I never
Swiper is shameless. If we gonna keep it a beam, Penn,
Hey, how much?
Swiper is
Hey, Ron,
shameless.
20, every 20 adds up.
And we got, and you know what? Guess what?
20
Joe?
ain't nothing.
I got
$20 ain't
$150 added to the collection plate today.
Yes, you did.
So I want to hear that. Penn, when's the last time you got us $100 for doing anything?
I just did, dummy.
No, that's not you. That was me.
Yo,
You just
all I
acknowledged
know
he
is-
came here for me. His first
After
chat was
I
about
called
Scotty
Toronto
Barnes.
broke. After I called
all I
Toronto
know
broke.
is shout out to uncles and shout
Yo,
out
we
to
don't-
all
we
the
don't get
dads out
commission on
there.
this,
And
Shout out to your
Uncle
dads who
Dad.
are your uncles. Yeah, shout out to your
So
dads who are your
crazy.
uncles.
Hunter sent through a super chat and said, Russ better cherish that TD record for the next 4 months because that record about to be obliterated.
Chill, I'm not gonna lie to you.
Jokic is what, about 40 behind?
He about to
Yeah,
catch
he's-
Big
he's
O.
gonna do it this
He's
year.
at 168 after yesterday, I think. And he has 4-4 games. He has the Portland Trailblazers on Friday to break the record for most starting. He's going to break it. Obviously, we know he's going to break it.
Joker had a quiet 2012 and 10 yesterday.
Bro, I'm telling you, bro. And he's not
Quiet.
scoring. He's not scoring this year either. Mars, I'm talking about. I'm not playing you, Mars. He might get to 50 at this rate, the way they playing. The way they're playing now, he's not even in the post.
Their offense is humming.
He will.
Yeah.
He's
He
at
will,
the
Flacco.
high.
He will. He
Yo,
will.
the Spurs are on the
50.
verge of making history tonight. By the way, I just want to let y'all know in that
I
glorious
got the Heat winning that
franchise's
game.
history.
By the way.
I
got the
kind of
Heat
do
winning
too,
that game.
right? But for real, I'm rooting for the Spurs because in that glorious franchise's history, with all their championships and all their goats, they have never started out 5-0. They have a chance to do it tonight against the Miami Heat at home.
But they never
see,
started
coming
4-0.
together.
as
really
well.
like that.
They didn't even start 4-0 before. They've never started 4-0 either.
And as you guys know, we will be watching this game on Playback tonight at 8:30 p.m. Y'all be sure to pull up so we can see whether Wemby really is like that and whether he could set history for the San Antonio Spurs and do something that none of their other greats could do.
And shout
All
out
right,
to Uncle
fellas.
Dad for giving a gifting 20 Players Choice memberships.
Has he ever been this active in the super chat before? In the
Uncle
chat?
Dad's on a roll.
I've never met Uncle.
Wow.
Dad.
So it took a non-Toronto person to get him out this box. I got you, man.
Okay, I
Appreciate
just want to
it,
be
bro.
clear. Uncle Dad literally gifted 10 Pensar basketball memberships yesterday on our stream last night,
And he
has
did
come
20
over
today on our platform. Wow, we got a double portion. Matter of fact, chill. I got to talk about the Old Testament. Remember, it said, "If I see you with sin, you get a double portion of my spirit." So he left Pin's platform, came to PC, heard Swipe of Mars, Ox, Ron, and Chill, not Pin, and said, "Let me double it up." Hey, you know, remember what's the mean go, Ron?
Actually, Swiper. Yeah, last night when I ended my stream, I said, "Please join me tomorrow, 11 a.m. I will be on Player's Choice."
Can anybody confirm that? Is there visual evidence of this?
Yes, videos exist.
Shout out Uncle Dad. Shout out Pinstream last night.
I be tapping into pen streams.
Void
Shout out,
Sentry
Smart.
sent through a super chat. It said,
I see you.
Ox, my brother, ... You know damn well your broke ass can't afford to be sending through super chats. Chill out.
Ox?
Ox not broke. Come on, man.
Shit.
Ox got a house. Ox got kids. You don't see Ox climbing up those stairs. Ox
Hey,
not
wait,
broke.
Ron. You saying because he got kids? If you got kids, you broke. Basically, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
So Damien,
yeah.
really quickly, and I just
No.
did a fast check. I just
Ox
did a
has
fact
stairs,
check.
doesn't he?
So in
Ox has
2017,
stairs.
the Spurs
No, he
started the
don't.
season 4-0. That was that.
They did?
20, in
So they tied the
2017.
franchise record. They
In
tied.
2017, they
Tied the
started the season
franchise.
4-0, and it's real tricky how they do these stats because in 2014, the year they won the NBA championship, they started the season 12-1. Like they lost their second game, and then they ran off like 9 straight after that.
Well,
Yeah.
they shouldn't
But,
have lost.
but so what you're telling me is they've never started 5-0, right?
Well, the Warriors started 24-0, so the Spurs
Forget
got
about the
a lot
Warriors.
of-
Fuck the Warriors. I don't care about the Warriors right now. Talking about the Spurs.
I do.
They've never started 5-0, right?
No,
they
they
have
have
never started.
Okay,
5-0.
cool. So that's all I care about. 5-0.
That's the
Boom.
night.
ESPN stat of the night.
I got the Heat
Let's go.
winning, so we'll see.
I kind of feel like the Heat are going to win
They won
too
their
and
first
spoil
two
it, but
games,
like
they
I
lost,
want
and then
this
they
for
proceed
Wemby,
to run
bro.
off like the next 12.
I don't want to hear no
they should
Kalel
slide
Weir
them
is a
all,
Wemby
too.
stopper bullshit.
DNE.
Speaking of stopping, it's about that time, fellas.
Merry
I'll
Christmas,
see you
All right,
tomorrow.
chill.
Later.
All right.
DNE MLV said, even if there are no new movements, there can be more movements that are bad for the body.
Agreed.
And there also can be load management that's good for the body. It also can be less minutes that are good for the body. It also can be better trainers, better recovery, better medicine, better food, better everything that you guys said was better. So
A lot of
I
trainers
guess
are
it all
worse.
balances out.
A lot of trainers are a lot worse today. A lot more money in it. A lot more access to it. So a lot of trainers I think are worse today.
Shout out to
personally.
Judgment Sports.
Medved Ted. Medved Ted said, Ron, the pace of the game and number of possessions is different.
Yes, we know
Pace
that.
was
Depends
faster
on
in the 80s.
Depends on, yeah, exactly. It depends on the area you're talking about. Nash Incognito said, Ron talking nonsense and not letting anyone else talk is L host at its
Thank you.
finest.
Everybody saw it too, except for Bell and Jordan apparently.
Ron,
It
we
was-
just
it
had a
was the
meeting
Shaq Glazer.
about how every
Shout out to-
time we talk over each other for more than 2 seconds, it impacts engagement. And then you decided
Ooh,
to
and
cut
then there goes
everybody
Ron.
off.
Pen
like
leaking
8 minutes.
meeting information. Crazy.
That's not
Data breach. Data
not
breach.
data
That's
breach.
the second time you
Cancel Pen,
snitched.
Yeah, cancel.
That's the
Pen,
second time you
cancel
snitched in
Pen.
8 hours. You remember in the group chat, Damien.
Confidential meeting information.
Shout out Consuela.
Hey man, he brought up Ron's government name, by the way, chat. Nobody knows this. Roncellis Washington is Ron's name. And he
Nah.
Ron Salas.
So Penn brought it up, and then you decided to bring it up to the public. All right.
I got a
Everyone
bad
knows
guy.
Uncle
Ron's
Dad got
name.
another
Ron-
one.
No.
Man,
Uncle
Been a
Dad said,
member for
Ron,
18 months.
I've been a member for 18 months. I just changed my name. Well, what was your old name?
Arch?
Oh no, he just
Is
found
this
out his
Arch?
uncle was his dad.
This Arch did
I
he?
got to bounce you. I'll see ya.
All right,
Peace,
Damien.
Merry
Damien.
Christmas, Merry
All
Christmas,
right.
Merry Christmas.
This is Arch's uncle's dad?
Grandfather?
No, uncle and dad simultaneously. His mother had relations with her brother, Uncle Dad.
Ron,
That's how it works.
were you actually upset that he brought your name up and said, like, you know, your government name in the chat? You know, everybody, you know, it's a
No,
great name.
I was mad about your little ITT check joke yesterday. That's what I was mad about.
Wait, what did I say? What did I say?
I'm not repeating that, and we can't go to that. But if you guys want to hear Swiper crack one of his corny jokes that he typically cracks, and if you want to hear a good episode of Football Talk, and if you want to see a fire guest with a huge TikTok following, over 1 million, come and talk football with Bama. Come and talk football with Swiper. Come and talk football with Trenton Early. Y'all pull up to episode 30 of the panel. It happened yesterday. Go back and rewatch this episode because they talked about a lot of good things and they got down to the bottom of a lot of great things. All right, y'all. We got a few more super chats and then we're going to go ahead and get up out of here. I appreciate everybody that's been tapped in for the duration of this episode. I appreciate everybody that's in here right now at this moment too. The next super chat I got is from Nash Incognito. Nash said the Cavs, Nuggets, Warriors, Lakers, Thunder, and Heat all run offense wildly differently. It's not just go screen and pick and rolls. So how many teams is that?
6. The Lakers.
How many
do
teams
run
are in
a
the
lot of pick and
NBA?
roll, to be fair. 30. The Lakers do run a lot of pick and roll, though, to be fair. They might be the most pick and roll heavy team of like the good teams. Like Washington.
So take the
run a lot
Lakers
pick
off of
and roll.
that.
They just-
You have 5 teams. The rest
No,
of the
but
teams,
even though,
3,
like,
3,
you could go
3.
beyond. You could go beyond that, like Indiana. Like a lot of teams play differently, but yeah, totally, yeah. Mhm.
The Trib Rowan said Reaves is him. It's still trade Rui for Bam. If we have to settle Rui for Keegan, Aiden has been playing well. Vando just needs to work with PJ Tucker.
You need to give up on this Vando offensive jump. It's not happening.
I
But,
think you're vastly
If the Lakers
undervaluing
could
everyone
magically
else's
get
team.
Keegan Murray, that would be cool.
You will never get Keegan Murray for Rui Hachimura.
Obviously. But if they
You're
could
not getting
magically-
Bam.
Well, they were never going to get Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis, and then they did.
Well, it required someone losing their mind and someone wanting to build a casino and wanting to spite their own city and all that stuff. A lot of shit had to happen that was wrong for that. Okay.
Why does it always happen to LA, not other teams?
Magic.
I don't know.
Magic like abracadabra magic or magic like Johnson?
Johnson.
Magic.
Okay, magic. Red Hood said, y'all keep hyping these overrated number 1 picks like AD, Cat, Zion, Paulo. At what point do you just admit they aren't as good as they can be?
AD and Cat, I think, have cleared
You're
expectations.
certainly missing some names there, but okay.
Did you watch Zion yesterday, Mars?
Yeah. Well, I watched parts of the game. Then it became ridiculous, and I stopped watching.
That was ridiculous. That was nuts.
Aaron Gordon. Was looking, he
The Zion still doesn't have a right hand, which is like concerning. But like the Pelicans roster is just so bad. Like it's just all over the place, offensively and defensively. Trey Murphy has stunk this year. It's just this team. They're like very clearly the 13th or 14th, 13 through 15 in the West. Like them, Phoenix, and probably Utah. Like it's very clearly they're the worst 3 teams in the West. It's not even close.
And Memphis is getting there too.
Memphis, I actually like Memphis. Whether they're good or not, that's not what I'm getting into. I like Memphis. Oh, and shout out Cedric Howard too. He is going to be nice. I like him.
I think he's been the
Jalen Wells
second
playing
best
next
rookie
to
so
John.
far. Man, second or third best rookie.
Yeah, behind VJ Edgecombe. Yep.
Yeah, VJ is number 1.
And then Cooper second.
No, I'd have Conker Nipple of Cooper right now.
Nipple. Okay.
Damn, Coop. All right, y'all. Daleski said, as a hooper, it hurts me to say this. It hurts you. It hurts me to say this, but I agree with Ron on the physical demand stuff. But how do I get my time on the show? I'm a Hall of Fame member, LOL. Daleski, so first off, I appreciate you for, taking the right stance in what we talked about earlier today. But secondly, I also appreciate you on becoming a Hall of Famer. Thirdly, I appreciate it if you hit me up whether that's the Player's Choice Instagram, the Player's Choice
Don't
TikTok.
send him your Cash App.
He already became a Hall of Famer. But if you guys want to become a Hall of Famer, there is a Cash App by the name of Cash Daniels now. If you send something there, you will get potentially moved into the Hall of Fame tier. So you have to go through litigations and
he'll be your
paperwork.
best friend. Send Swiper your Cash App. He'll become your best friend.
No, I just
I'm
will
sorry, y'all.
respond to
That's
their questions in a timely manner.
I'm sorry, y'all. That's my Nigerian ancestors taking over. But
Are you Nigerian?
anyways,
I don't know if we came to
Blaming
the consensus
Nigeria
that
for
you're
your
Nigerian.
nonsense is crazy.
I'm pretty sure we said you were Ghanaian. I'm Nigerian. We don't have your records or papers yet.
yeah, you're right. You're rubbing off on me. But anyways, he's asking how does he get up here? So since you're a Hall of Famer now, once again, DM the Player's Choice accounts or DM me personally. I'll get your information. We'll connect. We'll get you into the Hall of Fame group chat, all of that good stuff. And then from there, you'll have the opportunity to come on the show Friday, which is tomorrow, which is Halloween, which we would love to have you on here so you could tell everybody why it hurts you to say that you agree with me because these bozos were up here spewing nonsense. We'll see you tomorrow, Dale.
Ron, when the public comments are made available for the episode, I want you to see how many people are going to complain about you and your drivel from today.
Yeah, in fact, we love feedback at PC. Please let us know how you felt about Ron's hosting job when this video goes live in the comment section right away.
Thank you. Well,
even though I don't read the comments because I learned that's just not really super positive. So whatever, I would just imagine what you're going to say.
Nah, I swear I'm gonna read them. You guys tell me all about
myself.
The comments are a fun place to be, man. The comments are a fun place.
They can be.
Facts. Hey, Mars, make sure you like them comments for me.
Unless
I don't like comments. I don't think I've ever liked comments.
Well, like a few for me tomorrow or today.
No,
never mind. All right. Oh, damn. Wow. The Trib One said it's extremely hard to look at Pascal and Jalen in the eye and tell them to shut it down. They'll both make the play-in. Dub GM work. L host. Lakers in 5 now.
I don't think the Pacers are making the play.
I once had Bobby Webster, the general manager currently of the Toronto Raptors, once explained the decision not to tank for Wemby when the Raptors were the 5th worst team in the league at the All-Star break and traded for Jakob Poeltl. He said, how can you look at an NBA champion and ask them to tank in reference to Fred VanVleet? That's the day I knew my franchise was cursed.
What do you mean? Why would you, just to be clear, Mars, why would the Raptors tank when they have a player at the level of the defensive IQ as Hakeem Olajuwon on the roster? Why would you do that to that player?
Because he has the defensive IQ of he has the offensive IQ of you on the other end.
I don't know what that is.
Respect Fred VanVleet offensive IQ, please.
Respect Swiper's offensive IQ. I just wrote down 3 separate teams, 3 separate plays. What are you talking about?
Facts. Dante Bailey said, if Giannis won MVP, where would he be all time?
Top 20.
He's already top 20.
I agree.
Yeah.
MVP, yeah. I don't think too tough.
Ron doesn't value MVPs. He doesn't.
Yes, I do.
Oh, wow. You would think that a player with more than him would be ranked. Never mind. Ron's not consistent.
Ron loves MVPs unless it's a white person winning.
Who said I?
Larry Bird.
I see what we're doing here. So Luka, don't win MVP. It won't help your case at all. But maybe if you do something else, maybe it will help you. Avery B sent through a super chat and said, stars play less games, less minutes per game, less practice, more days between games, longer all-star breaks, better shoes, training, travel, nutrition. It's a 2-part super chat. He said, these improvements should at worst cancel out the increased demand on the court, but it isn't. Also, the point, Ron, on defenders also being better athletes.
Why should they? Just because you say so?
I think the hand checking rule that Craft Athletics made was a really good point. Being able to guide a guy with your hands, get away with a little bit more physicality, I think makes it a little bit easier to just play defense and stay in front of your man.
It does for sure. Zay4071 said, how do y'all feel about the Pistons right now? I think they're playing well, and this is without Ivy. Go Lakers, but I need more L's, not gonna lie.
They're playing well. Playing all right.
I think I haven't. It's just me. It's me. I think Cade was really good last night, though. So it's nice of Cade to finally join us
We
this
had
season.
32 and 10. 0 turnovers.
He had 30 and 10, I think. Yeah, 3 blocks, 3 steals. Met Jalen Suggs at the rim. That was crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And they
if
won.
Cade gone, and they won. If Cade gonna join the party, that would be nice. Need a bit more from Duncan Robinson. I've liked Ron Holland. I've liked a lot. It really has been Cade. Cade has been the biggest disappointment for me for the Pistons early on this year. Having Karis LeVert finally playing, that should help. So I'm not fully out on the Pistons. The Magic, I think, need to like make some changes. Detroit, I just think need to be whole and we can see them, and then Cade needs to step up.
I think it's Duncan Robinson, Karis LeVert have been pretty bad, like in the minutes that they have played. And I think it's Jalen Duren and Asar Thompson, overall Ron Holland, Isaiah Stewart. Like these are the guys who've been kind of carrying the load. So if I'm a Pistons fan right now, I'm pretty panicked about the fact that we paid Duncan Robinson all this money because he looks like ass.
Well, Karis has only played 2 games though, by the way.
Yeah, I think
in fairness,
Karis
and they
being
were
back
2
just
terrible
permanently
games.
dribble.
They were terrible games.
As long as Karis can take some of the burden off Cade as a ball handler, I do think that.
Wouldn't you prefer? Isn't that why you have Jaden Ivey long term on this team?
Yeah, but I'm also not the highest on Jaden Ivey. But like while Jaden Ivey's out, Karis should be able to take that burden. He does need to be good, obviously. I'm not just saying be out there for vibes. But right now they have Asar doing a lot of ball handling, which I think is actually kind of working. But like they're trying to aggregate the responsibility.
Their defense is working, their offense is not, and their offense is largely Cade not making jumpers and Cade turning the ball over at a reckless pace. So if Cade can clean that up,
if Cade steps up, I think they'll be fine. Orlando have a lot more issues, but like Detroit,
which is crazy to say, but also true. Yeah.
Ronaldo? All right, y'all. We got another super chat from IDK. IDK said, both athleticism and skills are simultaneously increasing. Are y'all crazy? More toll on the body and your joints from quickly changing directions than standing upright, taking physical blow.
I mean, it's like Bo Jackson. Remember, Ron? He didn't get hurt from like somebody hit him. He got hurt because he was so explosive that when he got tackled, his hip literally blew up because it couldn't withstand the force of him pushing against the ground and somebody else pushing against him. It was Mark, you go look at the injury. It was one of the freakiest injuries that you've ever seen in your life.
I've seen it.
I'd rather not then.
It's not like, I mean, it's not like gruesome, but it's just like that was doing the explanation for it. Like he was too strong for his joints.
Yeah, I didn't factor in. We got a bunch of Bo Jacksons running around.
You do. LeBron, Giannis, Jokic, next super chat.
Their hips seem to be cool, but all right. MTHJ said, based off the current Western standings, I don't think the Mavericks make the top 10 without major injuries or Jazz, Clippers, Grizzlies regression.
Well, I think the Jazz regression is pretty much guaranteed. The Grizz are a weird team because I haven't been very high on what I've seen from the Grizzlies, but I do think they're like okay. So like I don't know how the West is going to shape up. I'm not very high on Dallas stuff. So
the Don said Penn be blowing minds when he talk. Not gonna lie.
Y'all know what that means?
Just keep doing what you do, Penn.
No, but do y'all know what blowing minds means?
Just keep doing what you do.
I think it might be minds.
No,
maybe
it doesn't. Blowing minds means like pissing me off.
I've seen blowing me. But
No. We're not talking about your freaky stuff.
No.
We're talking about blowing minds.
It's blowing. What you're saying is blowing.
But you
me
went to
now.
New York and you don't know nothing about blowing minds. That's crazy.
I went to New York. I'm not from New York. I'm from Atlanta. Well, I live in Atlanta. From Denver.
Right.
So
y'all don't got any slang down there. That's cool.
It's slang in Atlanta. I mean, I don't say blowing minds. That's not something I say personally.
Okay.
All right, y'all. Shout out to your guy Bossman. Your guy Bossman sent through a members chat and said, I'm not on the Magic train yet.
Off.
I'm not off the Magic train yet, but I'm at the door.
Is that an expression, Pin? I'm not of the Magic train. What does that mean in New York?
It means you didn't go to school.
I'm pretty sure they went to school.
He said your people weren't allowed for more education. Ooh.
Oh my God, Mars! Every time, bro. Every time. Yesterday, I said to Real Talk, "You're not gonna be better than me." He's like, "You saying genetically?" Shut up, Mars.
T Jones 4L said, "Swiper, they got your man's on assault charges."
I don't know what that's a reference to.
Who?
I don't know who got assault charges.
Your man's.
Who we talking about? Who? I don't know. Who are we talking about? I don't know. Has somebody get assault charges recently that I'm unaware of?
Maybe we're talking about who sent through the next super chat, and that is who Zo7 or who Z07 said, "There's no way Ron is actually this dumb." Well,
it's not that Ron is dumb.
Once again,
It's
intelligence
possible.
is overrated.
Yeah, he's a clip merchant, y'all. Ron is a clip merchant. He
possible.
knows the business.
You
He
saying
knows the
he's a
business.
jester? He's a court jester? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I did say that. He definitely can do that at times, but no, he knows the business. I'm telling y'all, man, you know, if you ever want to see Ron not in a troll bag, get him out and about at an event with a suit on. He'll be 100% himself, no troll, all money. That's my favorite version of Ron.
No troll, all money.
My favorite version of Ron is when he's able to host the show in a fluid manner. I'm sorry, you guys, that we couldn't talk about the games that happened last night. There were two
On a basketball
co-yappers
show.
of the
He
years.
could have, but you
Co-yapper
decided
of
to
the-
argue for an hour.
There were
Well,
two
you-
co-yapper of the years that
And they were
hijacked
both
the
you.
plane
And
today.
they were both you.
Hey,
And they were both
9/11
you.
style and flew it
What
into
the hell?
yeah. You
The
guys
only
co-
person who flew, bro, you missed the building and you flew into a ditch. Okay, I ain't even giving you.
Oh, so
9/11
so you
credit.
guys
Yeah, I
hijacked the
did.
Pentagon plane?
I mean, yeah. To be fair, I did.
Or the plane that
You'd
was going
rather
to
miss
the,
building and go
the one that was
into
going to the White House.
Nah,
That's the
bro,
one that you guys did.
Mm-mm.
I did.
But-
You the one that missed.
Good job co-hosting the show today, Pen and Swiper. K.29. Shout out K. He used to be a Hall of Famer. He sent through a members chat right now, and he said, "This is a 3-person scream fest. Can we move on to the games from last night?" Hey, what did he say? Wait. Y'all said it was 1 person. What did K. just say?
I would like for you to go back when you have the time to go watch the show. I was having a debate with Chill, and we were talking. Marge was included, and Penn was included. You turned it into a scream fest.
He said
did.
it was a 3-person.
Yes, it turned into that because of your just egregious behavior that you normally will display when you don't know, when you're getting cooked, when you're on the fire. You know, like what fish do when they're like out of the water. they do this. You start flapping and then you start arguing. That's exactly what happened.
The PCL will be here soon, and that's when we'll get to see Swipe It get fried.
I don't
and
need
put
to do a
in the-
PCL. I want you to behave like a normal functioning human being.
No,
in
you're
debates.
talking about
That's
people
it.
getting cooked. I'm just saying the PCL will be here soon, and we'll see who cooks and who doesn't.
Shit. Ron getting cooked on baseball by me. Swiper getting cooked on American slang by me. Shit, y'all can take it. All right.
Penn getting cooked.
On what? Finish that
Life.
sentence. On
Thanking
life.
T said Cavs out rebounded by Josh Minot and Kada. Looking bad.
Yo, I've been on the Josh Minot train. I feel like I've driven that train by myself. Stopped at many stops. Nobody got on. Been talking about this guy forever. Okay. And by the way, to everyone who hates analytics, the analytics knew this guy was going to be good like 2 years ago.
Shout out to analytics and shout out to Josh Minot.
Yeah, analytics
Also,
said
one more
Derek White's an
time.
All-NBA player.
One more time, shout out to Uncle Dad. He became a new YouTube member, and he also then blessed the chat with 20 Players Choice memberships. If you got that membership, make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you re-up your membership once it expires. And if you're not a member, become a Hall of Famer. Y'all, it has been fun. It has been real. I will host even worse for tomorrow. So make sure you pull up.
Even worse.
Same time, same place. And I hope you guys have a better day. Penn, I hope you have a worser day.
Merry
And
Christmas.
Even
join.
worse.
Yeah, no, happy Halloween, actually. Join this Halloween tiers. Join the Hall of Fame tier and download Splash Sports.
Yeah.
Have a better day.